free Odyssey app.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. Senior FIFA advisor Carlos Cordeiro, who represented the soccer body in the White House task force for the World Cup, has resigned today in protest over FIFA's plan to sell a stake in the World Cup to private equity. Cordeiro is a former Goldman Sachs banker who's stepping down as an advisor to FIFA President Gianni Infantino and is urging other senior staff at FIFA to speak out. President Trump announcing an agreement for Hamas to disarm and for Israel to withdraw troops from Gaza as a part of the U.S. brokered ceasefire signed last year. There's been no confirmation from Hamas or Israel. A migrant crisis in Spain where thousands of Moroccans have breached the border in the enclave of Ceuta. Armed Karim is one of the thousands who crossed the Strait of Gibraltar to get there.
There is a lot of job in Morocco. So there is job, there is people who work, there is a lot of things. But that's not enough for all the people.
A warning to municipalities. Hackers could be trying to infiltrate drinking water systems. This is ABC News. At least 19 migrants have died trying to reach an enclave of Spain on the frontier of Morocco. The Civil Guard office calls it a serious humanitarian crisis, saying thousands of migrants, including unaccompanied children, have been sleeping in parks and sidewalks or roaming the streets aimlessly. It's not immediately clear what led to thousands of people trying to get to Spain that way from Morocco, and so far Moroccan authorities have not commented. A 13-year-old girl enjoying the ocean while on vacation in Turks and Caicos.
So I was doing a handstand, and then midway I just felt a lot of pressure. And then I looked up and I saw my hand bleeding. And I was like, Mom, I don't know what to do. My hand's bleeding. Something bit me.
Claire McDonald had been bitten by a barracuda. A nearby nurse who was on the beach spotted the injury and applied a tourniquet. Somebody else called 911 and she was stitched up at the hospital. Claire says she hopes to become a marine biologist one day. So this was good training. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
It is 6:02, and right now we've got cloudy skies in downtown St. Louis. It is 71 degrees. I'm Debbie Monterey.
And I'm Megan Lynch. New numbers from the St. Louis County Police Department show crime continues to fall in the suburbs. Here's KMOX's Michael Calhoun.
Police data is out for the middle of the year, and it shows that crime in those county patrol parts of the area are trending down. That does not include areas that are patrolled by municipal police departments. Property crimes, including burglaries and break-ins, have fallen more than 7% compared to last year. Drug and weapons offenses fell over 12%. Now, violent crime is about flat. County detectives investigated 23 homicides through June. That is up 3 from last year with a 91% clearance rate. Chief Juan Cox is crediting proactive policing with officers averaging over 12,000 self-initiated calls a month.
2 contractors who'd been renovating a home in Tower Grove Heights pulled guns on each other yesterday. One is dead, the other in critical condition. It happened in the 3700 block of Juniata, just off South Grand, around 3:50 p.m. The identities of the 2 men have not been released by police. They're still trying to figure out exactly what started the dispute. The men had been working on the home for some time. Both weapons have been recovered.
3 people have been charged with the murder and kidnapping of a woman who was found dead at cement land along the North Riverfront in March of 2022. 25-year-old Deja Allen had been out buying diapers for her infant when Christian Houghton collided with Allen's car around Chain of Rocks Road in Riverview. The Post-Dispatch reporting Houghton's passengers, Jamon Ellis and Denzel Williams, hopped out with guns. Allen was shot multiple times. Her vehicle was set on fire and her body was found 9 days later.
Amendment 4 would drastically raise the bar to amend the Missouri Constitution. How hard would it be to meet that new threshold?
If Amendment 4 were to pass, any future changes to the Constitution would require a 50% majority from each congressional district, not just statewide. Chris Duncan, political science professor at St. Louis University, says this could essentially give veto power to any one district.
This would give effectively, the opportunity for one district to trump the will of the 7 other districts in some, sort of very skewed kind of race.
Duncan says this takes a strong democratic process and makes it very hard for citizen initiative to pass. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
A library in St. Louis County asking residents to vote yes on a proposition that would raise property taxes. We get more from Jade Aubrey.
If you vote in St. Louis County next Tuesday, you'll see a Proposition L on the ballot.
Championed by Webster Groves Public Library, Prop L is asking for a 12-cent property tax increase on every $100 worth of residential and commercial property. However, the increase would drop by 4.5 cents in 2029 when the library's current tax levy expires. John Eagle, Webster Groves reference librarian, says the library hasn't asked for an increase since 2009 when it underwent major renovations and added a third story.
This year, our building here on 301 East Lockwood is celebrating its 75th anniversary. And so it's an old building. And even the expansion part, the new part of the building, is pushing 15 years old.
Eagle adds that the existing tax levy is outdated since it's based on numbers from 2009.
Minimum wage was $7.50 in 2009. It's $15 now. Our e-resources, so e-books, audiobooks, things like that, our budget in 2009 was $0. This year, it's going to be close to $100,000.
He says if a new tax levy is not approved by 2029, the library is at risk for a budget deficit. Jade Aubrey, KMOX News.
A group of physicians is pushing Missouri lawmakers to expand the state-run portion of Medicaid to all patients on the program, arguing the savings could be more than $250 million. Physician Ed Weisbart says currently the state pays private companies to operate Medicaid for 80% of recipients, with the 20% of blind, disabled, and elderly under a state-run Medicaid program.
Weisbart says even the most anti-state-run healthcare Republicans are open to the idea after talking with him.
He doesn't really like the idea of Medicare. He doesn't like the idea of Medicaid. If anything, he thinks Medicaid should be significantly cut. And then he heard what we were talking about, which would actually give him the cover to be cutting the Medicaid budget, but yet clearly not hurting and actually helping patients.
Weisbart says the savings would come from the lack of corporate overhead the subcontracted insurance companies have and better preventative care through the state-run program.
St. Louis City now has a new health department director. And as KMOX health editor Fred Bottomer reports, it's a former director of the St. Louis County Health Department.
Dr. Faisal Khan served as St. Louis County's health director in the midst of the COVID pandemic from 2021 to 2022 and was in charge when the county and the country were involved in the great masking debate. Dr. Khan later moved on to head up the Seattle King County Health Department in Washington. In a news conference announcing his return, only this time to head up St. Louis City's health department, Dr. Khan says he looks forward to making a real difference in the health and quality of life for St. Louis City residents. Mayor Spencer called Dr. Khan a leader with deep regional knowledge and national executive experience. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
It's 6:08. We'll check traffic and weather in 2 minutes here on KMOX.
Steve Ellman leads. Ellman enacted a data center moratorium. He doubled our parkland, built new roads, prioritized safe schools and streets, eliminated the county's real property tax. Ellman for St. Charles County. Bill Eigel misleads. Eigel talks but didn't pay his property taxes, but voted to give tax credits to the company behind the St. Charles Data Center, and was rebuked by Trump's lawyer for scamming donors.
Paid for by the committee to elect Steve Ellman, Michael Summer Jr., Treasurer.
And Doug.
Limu and I created a trick to help you remember that you can customize your car insurance and save with Liberty Mutual. You see, the shirts Limu and I wear are yellow, and yellow is the color of lemons. And lemons grow on trees, and trees provide oxygen. And oxygen helps us breathe, and breathing is how you live. And you can live more life when you save money by customizing your car insurance. I agree, Limu. It's really quite simple. Only pay for what you need at LibertyMutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty. This year, America celebrates 250 years. 2.5 centuries of courage, sacrifice, and family stories passed down from one generation to the next. Hi, I'm Nick Mako.
And I'm Adam Baselogger, founders of Legacy Box. Your family's piece of the American story is sitting in an attic or closet right now, trapped on aging VHS tapes, camcorder tapes, film reels, and fading photos. Those boxes hold moments you can never recreate. Your wedding day, your children's voices when they were little, grandparents coming back to life on screen. Over 2 million families have trusted Legacy Box. And we've just partnered with the USO to digitize fragile handwritten letters from World War II, helping preserve American history for future generations. As America turns 250, remember that your family is a part of the American story.
Preserving those voices, faces, and moments is a part of your responsibility to the next generation. Don't let them disappear on your watch.
Visit legacybox.com/radio for our amazing America 250 sale. That's legacybox.com/radio to save.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been injured in a car accident, call America's largest injury law firm. For over 35 years, my mission has been to deliver more for our clients, to deliver more for you. Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
It is 6:10. This is Total Information AM. I'm Debbie Monterey, along with Megan Lynch and Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, be careful traveling on Highway 70. Debbie, they just had a report of, I think this is westbound 70. It's right near Wentzville Parkway. And there's a steel plate in the roadway, and the bolts have come up that secures it. And I see 4 vehicles on the shoulder that reportedly all suffered flat tires, I guess. So just be careful as you're headed through that area. Like I said, I believe it's... Well, now they're saying it is eastbound, so just be careful eastbound. More traffic is coming that way. Eastbound 70 headed into Wentzville Parkway. I don't see any delays currently, but again, already several vehicles on the shoulder suffered damage for some bolts that are sticking up from a steel plate, so just be careful as you head through that stretch. Otherwise, the rest of these interstates are light and on the go for you. I'm not seeing any other issues in work zones or otherwise. Everything's light, or typically light for a Friday morning. Next update at 6:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
KMOX AccuWeather. Today will be mostly cloudy and humid with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm, mainly this morning, the high 83. A thunderstorm or two early tonight. Watch for flash flooding, hail, and damaging wind gusts. Then mostly cloudy and muggy later tonight with a shower, though 68. Mostly cloudy, breezy, and cooler, but still humid tomorrow with a couple of showers, even a thunderstorm, the high just 74. On Sunday, rather humid with intervals of clouds and sun, high 79. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Cloudy skies, 73 in Florissant, 75 in St. Peters, and 72 downtown at the Arch.
The Cardinals lose 3 of 4 to the Cubs at Busch Stadium, but they are calling up a certain starting pitcher from AAA Memphis. I'm Brian Feldman, sports at 6:15.
It is now 6:12. A familiar face in St. Louis newscasting is stepping into the main anchor chair at KSDK Channel 5.
Tonight we're learning about a possible second abduction attempt in Bridgeton. Good evening, I'm Steve Savard.
Steve Savard has been named the station's lead evening anchor, officially replacing Mike Bush when Bush retires August 13th. Savard joined Channel 5 in February after previous stints as sports director and then lead anchor at KMOV, as play-by-play voice of the St. Louis Rams, and as main anchor at KOLR in Springfield, Missouri. He'll co-anchor Channel 5's Evening News alongside Ann Allred and Kelly Jackson.
Anheuser-Busch's push beyond traditional beer paying off in its latest quarterly earnings. KMOX's Michael Calhoun.
AB InBev says global profits doubled to $3.7 billion in the second quarter. That was driven largely by non-traditional beverages and by international growth. While beer sales in the U.S. are still soft, revenue from the company's spirit-based cocktails and non-alcoholic portfolio are surging in the U.S. Executives also credit early marketing for the World Cup with driving record growth for Michelob Ultra, both in the U.S. and in Latin America.
The longtime headquarters building for Peabody Energy is for sale. The building on Memorial Drive was built in 1957 and is on the National Register of Historic Places, but it'll be auctioned off in St. Louis City's next land tax sale on August 11th.
According to the Business Journal, the 3-story building was last used by ICC, an engineering firm, which bought it in 2013 after it had been vacant for more than a decade. The appraised value of the building is $1.7 million. It could be purchased for the taxes owed the city, $342,000.
The Chesterfield City Council giving the green light to a brand new Rivian facility in the Chesterfield Valley. The electric vehicle manufacturer plans to use the Chesterfield Commons space as an immersive hub featuring interactive charging education and a custom gear shop.
When it comes to the service department, Rivian Representative Samuel Moon assured city officials the property won't become an eyesore for surrounding businesses.
Please note that
Heavy collision repairs are not done on site, so those are handled by our certified third-party body shops. And the site itself will not involve stacking of vehicles or overcrowded storage as well. Inventory stays at levels consistent with an orderly, professionally run showroom and service operation.
To prevent unannounced traffic jams and keep the lot clear, the facility will rely exclusively on appointment-only scheduling for all minor repairs and routine maintenance.
Well, Battlehawks fans, big changes are coming to the UFL as the league realigns its footprint. Executives confirmed they are departing Birmingham and Houston as part of a long-term growth strategy. The UFL's co-owner says future market selection will prioritize proper stadium sizing and strong fan support, two areas where the St. Louis Battlehawks have consistently led the league. The UFL plans to launch 2 replacement teams for 2027, followed by expansion into Oklahoma City and another market in 2028. It's 6:15.
Good morning, I'm Brian Feldman. T-minus 3 days until the trade deadline in Major League Baseball, and Chaim Bloom's decision-making might be getting more clear by the day. The Cardinals back under 500 after losing 3 of 4 to the Cubs at Busch. But don't blame Andre Pallante. Yesterday in the series finale, he was fantastic.
Andre pauses, delivers home, and that's grounded up the middle, but it's Mason Wynn covering some ground. He's got it, and he throws him out. Nice play by Mason. And another ground ball induced by Andre Pallante.
Pallante, 6 1/3 innings, 2 runs allowed. Just terrific. Unfortunately, his defense lets him down in the 4th.
Pitch by Pallante, hoping it's a good one. The one-strike pitch hit in the air to right field. Well struck. Backing up is Nootbaar at the track, and he makes the catch on the warning track. He better get the ball in. There's only one out, Lars, and he does, and it gets way in the infield, and the Cubs may score a run, and they do. Lars Nootbaar forgot how many outs there were, and it cost the Cardinals a run.
That ties the game up at 1. The Cubs do add to the lead in the top of the 7th. That is until rookie J.J. Weatherholt makes his presence felt.
Count in his favor, 2-1. The pitch is hit high and deep to right field. He got it! Yes, he did! Weatherholt has tied the game. He hits a hanging curveball into the bleachers, and we're tied at 2 here in the 7th inning.
Just like Wednesday, it goes to extras, but once the Cubs take the lead on back-to-back doubles by Alex Bregman and Ian Happ, the Cardinals cannot come back for the second straight day. 4-2 the final at Busch. Manager Oliver Marmol.
When you start the season and you say we're in a rebuild, there's going to be a lot of opportunities for guys to show what they're capable of and show where deficiencies are and where growth needs to take place, and we're seeing some of that.
Cardinals now 3 games out of the final wild card spot in the National League, but more importantly, behind 5 teams to get in the playoffs. The Cardinals start a 3-game series tonight in Toronto. After the game, manager Oliver Marmol announces left-handed pitching prospect Quinn Matthews will make his Major League debut this Saturday against the Blue Jays. The 25-year-old has been on absolute fire in AAA Memphis of late, an ERA barely over 1 in the month of July. He's officially just being added to the rotation for now, nobody coming out. But more moves, of course, could be coming in the next few days. And in soccer,
For City SC's newest DP, the move to St. Louis wasn't only about changing clubs. Carlo Holze comes to the MLS after playing in Denmark and Turkey. And sporting director Corey Ray says City spent a lot of time making sure the player fit what the club wants both on and off the pitch.
A player that fits the club and the coaching profile, but also the due diligence on the background was very, very important to us. And to make sure that this guy is an exceptional human being as well as an exceptional soccer player.
And that interest went both ways. Holze says conversations with Ray and head coach Yohan DeMay gave him a picture of City's project, including exactly where DeMay believes he fits.
I had a call with Corey, I had a call with Yohan. He described the project, his playing style, where he could see me fit in that project. I was pretty sold after that first talk with Yohan. Crazy tactics. He really sold me on that one.
Holze arrives with City riding 3 straight wins above the playoff line and now trying to build on that momentum through the second half of the MLS season. Jen Cease, KMOX Sports.
with reports at 15 and 45 past the hour, I'm Brian Feldman on your home for St. Louis Cardinals baseball, KMOX.
Can you believe politicians nearly doubled state spending since 2019? Yeah, that's twice the rate of inflation.
What do we get for all that extra spending?
Nothing.
Yeah, and get this, over 200 loopholes are buried in our tax code, written by lobbyists for wealthy corporations.
Our tax code is rigged against us.
We get taxed on our paycheck, our home, everything we buy.
I guess somebody's got to pay for all that spending.
That's why we need Amendment 5. It puts politicians on a leash.
Forces them to cut taxes and control spending, whether they like it or not.
Amendment 5 closes the loopholes, eliminates income taxes, cuts property taxes, and gives $3,000 a year to average working families.
We decide, not the politicians.
Amendment 5 is the biggest tax cut in Missouri history.
I'm voting yes on Amendment 5. Paid for by Missouri Promise PAC. Mark Ellinger, Treasurer.
Hey guys, this is Kevin Wheeler. If you're looking for a little kick in the pants when it comes to dropping a little weight, getting better shape, getting more into the gym, think about Burn Balance Complex, which you can pick up at Supplement Superstores. I've been using it since it came out. It's fantastic. You notice right away the difference. Look, we all have busy schedules. I do and you do. You know, we all have problems sometimes with controlling our eating patterns and staying on a plan. Well, Burn Balance Complex makes that so much easier. It's not magic, but it definitely helps make it easier. It is a complete metabolism system. It's not just a fat burner. So what you're talking about is a natural weight loss option. So if you're a person that doesn't want to go get a prescription, you're not into injections, this is a great choice for you. In addition to the metabolism boost, you get to lower stress and cortisol levels, you get better sleep. It can help control appetite and cravings, all day focused energy with no jitters, no crash at the end of the day. If you want the help, and look, we all need it. I know I do. Go to Supplement Superstores, tell them your story, mention Kevin Wheeler, and they'll knock 30% off the Burn Balance Complex. You can find your location at supplementsuperstores.com.
Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
6:20, time to check the roads with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, this situation I talked about, Megan, on eastbound Highway 70 is definitely an issue. I mentioned about vehicles that were suffering flat tires or some kind of damage on eastbound 70 at Wentzville Parkway because of a steel plate that had come up, or at least the bolts had come loose, and the vehicles suffered damage because of it. So they now have eastbound 70 shut down so they can make these repairs or resecure this at Wentzville Parkway. And it looks like traffic may be getting diverted off at David Hochul Parkway on eastbound 70 right now, or at least held up there while they do this. So just be prepared. There is a bit of a jam. Traffic is at a standstill coming in from Forestel towards David Hochul Parkway on eastbound 70 right now. So I think that is the case. But again, it is closed at Wentzville Parkway just temporarily while they resecure this steel plate that caused, I can see at least 4 vehicles on the shoulder that apparently reportedly have flat tires. Other than that, the rest of these highways are cruising along. I don't see any other delays on either side of the river in construction zones or otherwise. Next update at 6:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
All right, let's take a look at that forecast for today. It's going to be 83 degrees with mostly cloudy skies. It will be humid, and we could see a couple showers or a thunderstorm this morning. And then later today, like this evening, most likely a thunderstorm or 2. And those could be pretty heavy with flash flooding, hail, localized damaging wind gusts. Tomorrow, it's going to be much cooler because of that storm blowing through. We could see a couple of showers or even a thunderstorm tomorrow, otherwise mostly cloudy. Tomorrow's high, 74. We are almost there now because we're at 71 degrees in downtown St. Louis.
More news now at 6:22. First Community Credit Union expanding its footprint across the SIUE campus. Since 2019, the financial institution has held the naming rights to the university's indoor arena. Now, under new NCAA guidelines, they're expanding that contract to become the exclusive jersey partner for 8 Cougars athletic programs.
SIUE Athletics Director Andrew Gavin says the expanded deal isn't just about asking a donor to write a check.
Yeah, I've never wanted it to feel like a handout or fundraising when it comes to corporate partnerships. It truly has to be a mutually beneficial relationship. I think we want to be the best use of marketing dollars in the Metro East. So when we talk about the relationship with First Community Credit Union or BJC or Schnucks or Ameren, Illinois, some of our really, really strong supportive sponsors, they're helping us tremendously. That financial support is really important, but we're invested in helping them as well.
That strategy aligns directly with the credit union's recent push into the Metro East. First Community recently opened a new full-service branch in O'Fallon, Illinois, and plans to launch an Illinois call center later this fall.
Two of the region's schools combining to give students a chance to earn a business degree in 3 years instead of 4. Starting this fall, Southwestern Illinois College and Lindenwood University streamlining the transfer process for students earning a bachelor's in business administration.
Roxana teachers may start the school year without a contract. The union and the district have been negotiating since January. And a federal mediator is now trying to bridge the gap. Teachers Union President Kim Jones tells KMOX one issue is vacant positions.
We are trying to keep language that we currently have in our contract that allows teachers the opportunity to go into open positions before those positions are put out to the public.
Teachers staged an informational picket Thursday, the same day parents were registering kids for school. In a statement sent to KMOX News, the Roxana School District says it respects the right of employees to express their views and advocate for their interests through the collective bargaining process.
Senator Tammy Duckworth of Illinois introducing new legislation she says is designed to establish women's right to serve in combat. Duckworth says standards would be based on the demands of the job, not gender. Her office says the proposal is a response to Department of Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth's decision to order a study examining the effectiveness of women in combat jobs.
Illinois Congresswoman Delia Ramirez going on medical leave. Nancy Hardy has details.
Ramirez announced on social media she'll be taking several weeks off after what she called a medically necessary and time-sensitive surgical procedure. The Chicago Democrat says she acknowledges this comes amid growing distrust of public officials. On Tuesday, Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear sent a letter to Senator Mitch McConnell asking the Republican to prove he's fit to serve or resign. The 84-year-old has not been seen publicly since he was hospitalized last month. Ramirez says her leave coincides with Congress's August recess and that her offices will reopen on Tuesday.
Also in the news, a new program will financially help people in Illinois who recently were removed from the federal SNAP program.
Since Congress expanded the work rules for the SNAP program, the Illinois Department of Human Services says about 148,000 people have lost federal food assistance. Now, because of Illinois' new Families Receiving Emergency Support for Hunger program, starting on August 1st, eligible households in Illinois will receive a one-time $400 benefit that will be placed on their Link card, which SNAP recipients use to buy groceries.
Hundreds of thousands of people are expected to descend upon Grant Park for Lollapalooza. It kicked off yesterday. Carolina Garibay has more.
Life? I know, but it's just Lord. I feel like I can't, it's Lord. Lord and hometown artist John Summit headline day one of the festival. Fans say whoever they end up seeing, it'll be a great weekend either way.
It's like nothing else. Everyone's just so excited to experience music in the same place, and it's just it reassures me that music is the thing that I love more than anything else. It's the best.
Carolina Garibay.
If you're looking for some summer fun in St. Louis this weekend, the Super Fair opens tonight at Worldwide Technology Raceway. It runs through August 9th and includes rides, games, classic fair food, and a circus. The fair opens at 5 on weekdays and 3 on weekends.
It's now 6:27, and this time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Registered lobbyist Mike Deering is not the kind of guy you want in the state Senate.
Did you say he was a registered lobbyist?
Sure did. When conservatives like Tricia Burns tried to pass a bill to take back the 300,000 acres in Missouri allowed to be controlled by China, lobbyist Mike Deering testified against it. When conservatives like Tricia Burns fought alongside Missouri cattlemen to require foreign beef to be labeled, lobbyist Mike Deering testified against that too. While conservatives like Tricia Burns are fighting to protect your farmland from being paved over by data centers, lobbyist Mike Deering described Google's Montgomery County hyperscale data center as a
very positive thing.
Deering also endorsed Liberal Democrat Chris Koster for governor and openly mocked President Trump. Registered lobbyist Mike Deering, anti-Trump, pro-Democrat, bought out by foreign ag interest, and in love with data centers. Take down Data Center Deering on August 4th. Vote America First conservative warrior Tricia Burns for state senate.
Paid for by Mo Constitutional Conservative Council PAC, Scott Lady Treasurer.
Someone had a birthday.
Yep, 50. Can't believe it.
50 years of wisdom.
Great segue. We have a health reminder from the CDC.
Pneumococcal vaccination is recommended for adults 50 or older. Says here, we're over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50.
I don't love those odds.
Same. Look what I found. Pfizer's Prevnar 20 is proven to help protect adults against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease in just 1 dose, and millions have already gotten it.
Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you have a severe allergy to its ingredients. A weakened immune system may lower your response. Common side effects include injection site pain and swelling, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138. Visit Prevnar20.com or talk to your doctor or pharmacist.
I'm on Prevnar20.com now, scheduling my appointment.
Good idea. And happy 50th.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group. And I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney. And the truth is, I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. After 15 years and over 50,000 cancellations, I can tell you with confidence, we know how to get you out of your timeshare. Call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit guide absolutely free with all your options for cancellation. Attorneys, this was meant to be funny, so please don't sue me, especially my friend Kenneth from Black River Falls, Wisconsin.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. 800-838-6767. 800-838-6767. 800-838-6767.
It is now 6:30 and we have cloudy skies and 71 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterey.
And I'm Megan Lynch. We could see some rain today, but first let's check on the roads with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Megan, we still have our trouble out west in the work zone on Highway 70. Eastbound 70 is still shut down at Wentzville Parkway. There's a steel plate in the roadway. I guess it looks like it's probably in the left lane, but apparently the bolts came loose. Vehicles struck it, suffered flat tires. 2 vehicles have a flat, 2 vehicles have 2 flats. And so highway crews are there to resecure that steel plate right now. So that's why eastbound 70 is closed at Wentzville Parkway. They're holding traffic back at David Hochul Parkway. So they're not letting you pass that point. And eastbound 70, as a result, is a standstill jam back to a point just west of Forestel. So hopefully it won't take them too long to secure this plate. The vehicles of the flats are out of the roadway. They're in the construction zone, safely out of the traffic lanes. So once they get the steel plate resecured, they should be able to reopen that stretch of eastbound 70. But again, it's jammed right now just west of Forestel up to David Hochul Parkway, and they're not letting any traffic past that point until they get these repairs completed. That is the only interstate issue we have. The rest of these interstates on both sides of the river remain light and on the go this Friday morning. Next update at 6:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Mostly cloudy today. We could see a couple of showers or a thunderstorm this morning, a high of 83, and then a thunderstorm or two tonight. Those could be pretty strong with flash flooding, hail, localized damaging wind gusts. And then that moves the warm temperatures out for tomorrow because there'll be a high of just 74 degrees and mostly cloudy with a chance of a couple showers or a thunderstorm. It's 71 right now.
It's 6:32. St. Louis City has a new health director. As KMOX health editor Fred Bottomer reports, you may recognize the name from a similar job in the past.
Dr. Faisal Khan served as St. Louis County's health director from 2021 to 2022. He was a bit controversial due to his public health stance advocating the wearing of masks during the COVID pandemic. And in a July 2021 county council meeting, he got into a heated exchange with an angry anti-masking crowd. Dr. Khan later moved on to head up the Seattle King County Health Department in Washington. In a news release announcing his return, only this time to head up St. Louis City's health department, Dr. Khan says he looks forward to making a real difference in the health and quality of life for St. Louis City residents. Mayor Spencer called Dr. Khan a leader with deep regional knowledge and national executive experience. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
St. Louis County Police say data-driven patrols are helping drive down local crime rates. We get more from KMOX's Michael Calhoun.
Mid-year statistics that are just out show steady drops in property crimes and drug offenses across precincts in the county through June. Chief Juan Cox says the department is leaning into data-driven technology to make sure that officers are put into high-crime spots before any trouble starts. County data shows officers logged more than 12,000 officer-initiated stops and checks per month so far this year. Cox says keeping frontline patrol units fully staffed is his top priority still to keep those crime numbers moving in the right direction.
Captain the Clydesdale is the newest member of the St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department. Standing 6 foot 2 inches tall, Captain is about 5 years old and made his debut outside Busch Stadium this week. He's now the fourth horse to join the SLMPD's current mounted patrol unit. The department says the unit started in 1867. It was reestablished in 1970, and that the horses are now used on patrols for crowd management and community engagement.
And Megan Lynch got eyeballs on Captain yesterday.
He is darling.
He was outside Busch Stadium.
He's a big boy.
I want to pet his nose. It is 6:34, and the news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com.
When Donald Trump needs conservative votes to help pass his agenda for Missouri, Representative Tricia Burns never answers the call. Tricia Burns has missed 370 votes. Burns is bucking President Trump's priorities. Burns did not vote to stop DEI initiatives, prevent China from owning Missouri land, defund Planned Parenthood, and Burns did not vote to ban boys from girls' sports. Tricia Burns not showing up for Missouri and President Trump. Instead, Tricia Burns spends her time pulling pranks on the suicide prevention hotline. Yes, you heard that right. Tricia Burns lied to the police and staged a fake suicide emergency. She sent a series of messages to the hotline and said she, quote, had a gun to her head, end quote. When she got caught, she said there'd be no consequences because she's a politician. By August 4th, vote to show Tricia Burns that there are consequences to being bad at your job.
Let's Go Brandon PAC paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. Chris Foss, Treasurer.
It's time for...
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Your money report. We'll do it in stereo.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Amazon is showing Wall Street that its spending on artificial intelligence is paying off. Shares are surging this morning after posting its fastest cloud computing growth in about 4.5 years. Amazon's e-commerce operation still generates the biggest share of the company's revenue. Online sales gained 15% in the quarter. This is giving a lift overall to the markets. This morning, S&P futures are rising 42 points, NASDAQ futures jumping 1.3%. Taco Bell is starting to recover from the parasite outbreak linked to tainted lettuce. Parent company Yum Brands says sales at the chain have declined 2% so far this quarter. Deals have helped get people in the door. And Disney is said to be selling its 50% stake in A&E Global Media to Hearst Communications. Disney's move to sell its stake in the business, which includes the A&E Channel, the History Channel, and Lifetime, would be the first major divestment by new CEO Josh D'Amaro. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
And your money report is sponsored by Eamon Gattner and Capriano, Elder Law Attorneys.
I'm Bill Eigel. I'm a no on data centers. Last year, when a new hyperscale data center was up for a vote in St. Charles City, I'm the only candidate for county executive who stood with you in opposition. Meanwhile, Steve Ellman was writing op-eds in support of data centers. In fact, he spent $400,000 of your taxpayer money to identify 6 locations just for data centers in St. Charles County. I'm Bill Eigel, and if you don't want data centers in our county, then I'm asking for your vote on August 4th.
Paid for by Eigel for Missouri. Lisa Borchers, Treasurer.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan with McKelvey Homes. The wait is over. The displays are now open at the Reserve in West County, a prime location at Manchester and Highway 109. The Reserve is an outstanding community with serpentine streets, extensive trails, and our own neighborhood park with a pavilion, gazebos, playgrounds, and more. Come tour our popular Hamilton Ranch or our luxurious Turnberry story and a half. Visit McKelveyHomes.com. It's time to move up to McKelvey.
Oh, hey, Sarah. Did you hear my daughter Katie got Camper of the Week?
That's a big deal.
We got a big deal too, right, Mom?
Honey, shh.
What's that?
Okay, that Hyundai Santa Fe, I only paid.
Nice.
Deal's so right, it almost feels wrong. The Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Get 0% APR for 60 months, plus 0 payments for 90 days, or 1.9% APR for 72 months on the Hyundai Tucson, Santa Fe, or Santa Fe Hybrid during the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Hurry, offer ends August 3rd. Call 562-314-4603 for details.
Another app for inventory, one for CRM. Oh, don't forget accounting. Wait, which login was that?
Or you could use Odoo, one fully integrated system that does it all without the hassle. Ditch the app overload. Get everything your business needs on one platform. Try Odoo free today at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
The radical left let crime and drugs pour into our nation, and they let biological men into girls' sports. But here in Missouri, if there's a problem, we fix it. That's why Ann Wagner's fixing the mess the radical left made and delivering for us. Wagner voted to ban biological men from competing in girls' sports, and she voted to fund the police and provide more resources for Border Patrol agents, keeping our families, communities, and children safe. And Ann Wagner didn't stop there. In Congress, Wagner passed the largest working-class tax cut in American history, kept big government out of our business, protected our way of life, and ensured our communities remain safe. That's why Ann Wagner's endorsed by the Missouri Farm Bureau and Missouri Fraternal Order of Police. Vote Ann Wagner for Congress on August 4th.
I'm Ann Wagner, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Ann Wagner for Congress.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter.
It is now 6:40 and it's time for traffic and weather. Roger Brand is keeping his eye on things from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, that was good timing on eastbound 70, Debbie. It's starting to rain now in Wentzville. The rain's coming down, and they just got the repairs completed. You know, eastbound 70 was shut down at Wentzville Parkway for 15, 20 minutes, something like that, because a steel plate had come loose. Bolts had caused flat tires on several vehicles. Now, unfortunately, those motorist assist guys have to change flat tires in the rain, but they resecured the plate, reopened the highway, so traffic is now getting through eastbound 70 at Wentzville Parkway, but there's bumper-to-bumper pockets from Forestel into that point, and the rain's probably going to keep you slow anyway, so just be prepared. But that is the only interstate issue we have right now. Otherwise, the rest of the interstates and a lot of the area are still dry, and they're light on the go, even in the construction zones. But like I said, it's already raining in Wentzville there now, and it's backed up from Forestel in pockets through that area at Wentzville Parkway. Next update at 6:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Roger just mentioned the rain. Let's see what the forecast is calling for. Joe Lundberg joining us now from AccuWeather. What's it look like on the radar, Joe?
Yeah, that radar is showing that the first showers moving through the Wentzville area right now. There's a lot more where they came from, farther to the west, really out toward the Columbia area and points west. So we're going to have to deal with this through the morning and midday hours. Some showers and a couple of heavier thunderstorms that will come through, put a lot of water down on the highways. I don't think it'll be enough to cause flash flooding, but it's certainly going to be one of those things that the back end of the morning commute and toward lunchtime will be compromised because of the rain. So just be prepared for some slow going. Our high gets to 83. The afternoon hours largely rain-free. Front will approach the area and move through early tonight, and with it, a couple of thunderstorms. There can be severe weather with hail and damaging winds and flooding downpours. Behind it, just mostly cloudy with a shower, low 68. Tomorrow's going to be uncommonly cool for the start of August. Lots of clouds, a gusty breeze, some showers, maybe a thunderstorm. Our high mid-70s. Gets a little bit warmer Sunday with clouds and sun and a high of 79. And then better weather for Monday, partly sunny, the high 81. More sunshine Tuesday, mid-80s. Right now, 75 at St. Peter's, 74 in Florissant, 75 mostly cloudy downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Andre Palante just fantastic yesterday for the Cardinals. Unfortunately, his defense lets him down, and the Cardinals lose 3 of 4. I'm Brian Feldman. Highlights coming up in sports at 6:45.
It is 6:43, and there could be a major deal in Gaza. We get details from ABC's Martha Raddatz.
President Trump announcing U.S. negotiators have reached a deal with Hamas to lay down its weapons and relinquish its control over Gaza. U.S. officials who briefed reporters late last night say Hamas has agreed to disarm and transfer power in Gaza, as long as Israel withdraws from the Strip. The proposed move, part of a peace deal announced by President Trump and his newly formed Board of Peace.
New concerns about the safety of water systems across the country after a cyber attack targeted dozens earlier this week. ABC's Andrea Fuji has details.
Overnight, the FBI and the EPA issuing a warning to water and wastewater facilities nationwide about the increasing risk posed by hackers after a cyber attack on dozens of water systems in Minnesota, an attack officials say could be linked to Iran.
The hackers targeted control systems at the water facilities and changed passwords to lock operators out. Investigators still trying to find the culprits, but say Iran is a country that has the capabilities to launch such an attack.
Sources now tell ABC News that Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche has met with the 2 Republican senators who have been holding back on supporting his nomination to get the job permanently. We get more from ABC's Karen Hua.
He's already the acting attorney general, but Todd Blanche's path to officially take over the office is blocked this morning. That's because 2 outgoing Republican senators, John Cornyn and Thom Tillis, are demanding written proof that a controversial part of President Trump's settlement with the IRS over the leak of his tax returns will be thrown out.
The senators want it in writing that the so-called anti-weaponization fund has been eliminated.
Seattle's police chief out of a job after pressure mounted following this week's mass shooting at a food festival that left 3 people dead.
Public anger grew against Seattle Police Chief Sean Barnes and Seattle's mayor over the city's response to the shooting and the lack of basic information that came from the city in the hours after the shooting. The chief, who was appointed in Seattle in late 2024 with the goal of modernizing and rebuilding the police department, has been under scrutiny for his lack of ties to the city and frequently leaving town. Reports emerged on Wednesday the mayor had asked Barnes to resign. On Thursday afternoon, that resignation letter was made public. Alex Stone, ABC News.
I'm John Rooney. Yesterday, the Cardinals and the Cubs went to extra innings. Wednesday night, they went to the 10th inning, and the Cubs scored 2 against Luis Gastelum on a home run by Pete Crow Armstrong. But the Cardinals were able to take the rookie off the hook by plating 3, 2 on a double to win the game by Ivan Herrera. Well, Gastelum came up and gave up back-to-back doubles to Alex Bregman and to Ian Happ, and the Cubs had a 4-2 lead. The Cardinals couldn't take Gastelum off the hook in the bottom of the 10th inning as Jacob Webb was able to get the first out. And then Aaron Savali came on to retire Jimmy Crooks on a fly ball and Lars Nootbaar on a strikeout, giving the Cubs 3 out of 4 in the win column in the series with a 4-2 victory. Jacob Webb with the win over Gastelum, a save for Savali. Tonight the Cardinals are in Toronto. Kyle Leahy 7-4 against Dylan Cease 7-5, and we'll be on the air at 5:10 Central Time from Rogers Center.
The Cardinals now 3 games out of the final wild card spot in the National League, but more importantly, behind 5 teams to get in. Don't blame Andre Palante, though, for yesterday's loss. He was terrific. 6 1/3 innings, 2 runs allowed, lowering his ERA to 3.72 on the year. He is hot. This after seeing his ERA balloon to 5.31 last year. Manager Oliver Marmol on Palante's outing.
Like what we're seeing out of Dre, just in a lot of ways. What's coming out of the hand is really good. His confidence and conviction behind his pitches and just overall preparation and level of execution has been high. So I'm proud of what he's put together so far.
Who's Hot, Who's Not, sponsored by St. Louis Composting, growing gardens and making memories. After the game, Marmol also announces left-handed pitching prospect Quinn Matthews will make his Major League debut this Saturday against the Blue Jays. The 25-year-old's been on fire in AAA Memphis of late, an ERA barely over 1 in the month of July. He is officially just being added to the rotation for now, nobody coming out just yet. but more moves, of course, could be coming in the next few days. In soccer,
St. Louis City SC has taken all 9 possible points since returning from the World Cup break, but head coach Yohan DeMay won't allow 3 straight wins to become the finish line. City's latest was a 1-0 home win over Colorado, jumping the club to 7th in the Western Conference and above the playoff line after its 3rd match in just 10 days. Now with a full week before hosting Real Salt Lake, DeMay says the results don't change the process.
The focus is to get better. What did we learn from the Colorado game? What did we learn from the Galaxy game? It's about us pushing that process that we've started in January.
And City could soon have another attacking option. New midfielder Alexandre Matan is available for selection on Saturday as DeMay begins working him into the group.
He's available for the weekend. It's going to be a process to integrate him. He's a smart guy, so I think it's going to be a short period of time to acclimate.
While newest Danish midfielder Carlo Holza is in St. Louis, he can't suit up until all paperwork clears over the next few weeks. City hosts Real Salt Lake on Saturday at Energizer Park. Pre-game begins at 7 on Y98 with kickoff at 7:30. Jen Cease, KMOX Sports.
with reports at 15 and 45 past the hour, I'm Brian Feldman on your home for St. Louis Cardinals baseball, KMOX.
It's Tom Ackerman for St. Louis Composting. Composting is very important. Soil is very important. Mulch is very important. For your yard, soil with 5% or more organic matter is the gold standard. It creates better structure. It locks in nutrients. It dramatically improves water retention. Now is the perfect time for a full landscape cleanup. Add compost to your garden beds to prep for planting season. And mulch. Refresh your entire landscape with a fresh layer of mulch in your flower beds and around your trees. It's the fastest way to make your yard pop with a beautiful, well-kept look. How do you do all of that? You just go to stlcompost.com. They have a menu of everything you could possibly want or need. They even have a material calculator at stlcompost.com to figure out exactly how much soil or mulch your project requires. 9 retail locations all over the area. St. Louis Composting, growing gardens, making memories.
And Doug. Limu and I created a trick to help you remember that you can customize your car insurance and save with Liberty Mutual. You see, the shirts Limu and I wear are yellow, and yellow is the color of lemons, and lemons grow on trees, and trees provide oxygen, and oxygen helps us breathe, and breathing is how you live, and you can live more life when you save money by customizing your car insurance. I agree, Limu. It's really quite simple. Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
The 3-2 pitch with the runner going a swing.
Ready to elevate your game? Join the MBA Sportscasters Forum on Tuesday, September 15th in St. Louis. Learn from Cardinals beat reporters, broadcasters, and Hall of Famer John Rooney as they break down play-by-play, reporting, interviewing, and covering the game. Then cap off the day with the Cardinals versus Giants at Busch Stadium. Step into the booth, sharpen your skills. Go to KMOX.com/events for details and registration. Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM, KMOX. Your morning news and information. Total Information AM.
It's 6:51. Let's get the latest on the roads for you with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, the only place we have delays right now of any consequence, Megan, it's a lot better than it was, obviously. Eastbound 70's been reopened at Wentzville Parkway, but you just have some slow traffic from David Hochul Parkway into 6470. Southbound 61 a little slow as you get to the interchange as well. And again, it's raining out there, so it's just slow due to the weather now and the fact that it was shut down. Eastbound 70 was for about 15-20 minutes to make some emergency repairs to a steel plate that had come loose. On the Illinois side, I'm seeing a little bit of a slowdown. Eastbound 64 getting on to 5570. Of course, it's down to one lane there through Exchange, so there's just a little volume eastbound, but westbound, everything looks great headed across the bridges for you. Next update at 6:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's Best Eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Mostly cloudy, a couple of showers or a thunderstorm this morning, and we do have actually rain in the region right now, and it is heading east. High today of 83. We could see some storms tonight, though, with flash flooding, hail, and damaging wind gusts. By tomorrow, though, it'll have pushed the hot temperatures out. Tomorrow's high only 74 degrees with a couple of showers and maybe a thunderstorm at 72 right now.
The new news continues at 6:52. The self-initiated data breach carried out by a pair of OpenAI agents may not be an isolated incident. ABC's Jim Ryan says a competitor of OpenAI has made a startling admission.
Last week, OpenAI disclosed that 2 of its artificial intelligence models slipped out of their testing environment and hacked into the computer system of a company called Hugging Face. Now, Anthropic has disclosed that a combination of its Claude AI agents also gained access to the internet during testing recently and sneaked into the systems of 3 undisclosed organizations.
Federal regulators are going full throttle on robo-taxis, clearing the way for Amazon's fully autonomous Zoox vehicles to operate without steering wheels and, in the future, without brake pedals. Zoox can start charging customers for rides in the specially designed cars with 4 inward-facing seats once they secure state and local approval. Jonathan Morrison with the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration says they want to update regulations to fit the growing technology while also acting as the cop on the beat.
So we're requiring more robust reporting requirements from the entity. We have the ability to pull the exemption if we see unreasonably risky behavior on the road. So it gives us the ability to oversee and learn from this technology as we look to modernize our system of regulation itself.
Meta's second quarter earnings show the Facebook parent company missed its profit targets while logging $42 billion in costs and expenses. That's a 55% increase over the same time last year. Investors are now worried about if and when tech companies like Meta will see a profitable return from all that investment in artificial intelligence. ABC's Christian Cordero has more.
While Meta, dropped significantly, Microsoft reported a 43% growth on things like its cloud business, beating expectations there. It also showed major growth in its AI assistant Copilot, which you've probably seen pop up on more of your browsers. It is the tale of 2 realities when it comes to AI specifically, and something this disruptive is undeniably, both things can be true. It is creating new growth opportunities while also impacting real people and leading to cuts in the workforce.
Better late than never for a library in Australia.
A book has been returned to the Kiama Public Library 150 years late. Antiquities of Athens, published in 1858, was returned last week by a man who found it while doing home renovations. It was tucked inside of a tea crate, which was bricked into a sealed fireplace. He will not be charged with the late fee, which, accounting for 150 years of inflation, would be $19,500. It will not be lent out again. Wayne Cabot, ABC News.
I heard it's somebody's birthday.
Birthday excitement.
It's your birthday.
Today's KMOX birthday shout-out sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back. Celebrity birthdays for this Friday, July 31st include entrepreneur Mark Cuban, 68 years old today. Actor Wesley Snipes is 64. NASCAR driver Kyle Larson, 34. And actor Rico Rodriguez of Modern Family, 28.
Local celebrity birthdays include Fran Wersch from All Your Friends. Also, Emily Baer. Happy 29th wedding anniversary to Joe and Tammy Rademacher. Carol Hinkle is celebrating a birthday today. So is Sandy Chernuski from Your Girlfriends, and happy 8th to Bo Spring from Pops and Grandma.
This is the best birthday ever.
New Game Plus with Oxy makes your laundry smell incredible and fights stubborn smells, like the ones your dog Biscuit brought into your freshly made bed last night. But you wash that all away with Game, and now you're drifting asleep to the scent and sound of waves. Ah, no, that's the dog licking your ear.
Biscuit.
It just might be our greatest scent ever. Now with odor fighting power. New Game Plus with Oxy.
I built this business the old-fashioned way. Hard work and a whole lot of spreadsheets.
Yeah, about that, I upgraded us to Odoo. Odoo puts everything we need, sales, inventory, accounting, on one connected platform. No more juggling systems, no more headaches.
So it all works together?
Exactly.
Odoo is the all-in-one business software that makes running and passing on a business easier than ever. Take your business into the next generation. Try Odoo free at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
I'm with Mark Cantor of Cantor Injury Law. And Mark, why is it so important for you to be a local law firm?
Well, being local means more than just advertising here, more than just a billboard on the highway. It means showing up here. It means supporting local events and local charities.
But why is local so important?
It's important because we know the law, we know the judges, we know the roads, and we understand the community.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertising.
You can count on Cantor. Visit CantorInjuryLaw.com.
There's a saying, it takes a group of good men to build a barn, and only one to tear it down. Well, a few Jeff City politicians are at it again, tearing things down with Amendment 5 and Amendment 4. No on 5 and 4. 5 takes our money with higher sales taxes, higher taxes on gas, guns, and groceries, a sales tax hike on rent and diesel, seed and feed. 4 takes away our constitutional right to vote and go around the establishment politicians and to stop higher taxes. Takes away our safety valve, a vote of the people to stop or reverse a dumb idea like the everything tax. I'm a no. A heck no. No. No on Amendment 5. No on Amendment 4. No on both 4 and 5. Paid for by no on the everything tax.
Here's Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, the rain's moving into the area, Debbie. We have a crash out west on eastbound 44. It's west of Six Flags. It's blocking the left lane as you come around the bend there. A short jam up through the area. And due to earlier problems, we still have heavy pockets eastbound 70, David Hochul Parkway, in past 64. Next update at 7:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
This is Friday, July 31st. I'm Megan Lynch, and these are the stories making news.
I'm Sean Malone. Could expanding the state-run portion of Medicaid save Missouri hundreds of millions of dollars? I've got that story coming up.
I'm Debbie Monterey.
You've probably heard of Prop U, but what about Prop L? I'm Jade Aubrey, and I'll tell you who the proposition could impact next hour.
Keeping tabs on St. Louis companies, and a big one is seeing success by getting away from what it's traditionally sold. I'm Michael Calhoun with the latest.
With the trade deadline just a few days away, decisions might be getting a little more clear for the Cardinals. I'm Brian Feldman. Sports in 15 minutes.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. It'll be humid today with plenty of clouds, along with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm, mainly through the morning hours, the high 83.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. American oil and gas giants reporting massive profits while the war went on. ExxonMobil reporting this morning its profits were up 105% from a year ago during the second quarter. Chevron quadrupling its profits in the same quarter. President Trump claims Hamas has agreed to disarm in exchange for Israel pulling its troops out of Gaza. ABC Chief Global Affairs correspondent Martha Raddatz has more.
Details of the plan are slim, and Hamas has not gone public in support of the plan. If the agreement does come to fruition, verifying that the militant group has laid down its arms will be a challenge, as well as convincing some Israeli officials to back the deal.
At least 19 people have died after thousands breached the border between Morocco and the Spanish territory of Ceuta. Some swam from Moroccan towns, others flooded through gates. Spain's prime minister will visit the territory today. This is ABC News. Seattle's police chief resigning at the request of the mayor after that deadly shooting at a food festival near the Space Needle.
In the same week of the mass shooting in Seattle, now the city's police chief is out of a job. In a statement, now former chief Sean Barnes' attorney saying the mayor of Seattle requested Barnes' resignation and he resigned. Chief Barnes had been under fire since the shooting for the city's lack of basic information to come out to the public and media, and his frequent travel out of the city, sometimes to see family in Chicago. When confronted about his frequent trips out of Seattle, including on Sunday when the shooting occurred, Barnes became hostile this week.
No. You need to know this.
Now an interim chief has been appointed. Alex Stone, ABC News.
A growing heat dome blankets the West in life-threatening heat. Oregon is in the midst of what could be its worst wildfire season on record. And in Las Vegas, they could hit an all-time August heat record this coming weekend. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
At 7:02, we have cloudy skies, 73 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Friday, July 31st. I'm Megan Lynch.
And I'm Debbie Monterey. Could expanding the state-run portion of Medicaid save Missouri hundreds of millions of dollars?
A group of physicians arguing for reform are saying it could. They say about 20% of Medicaid recipients are covered by a state-run program because they are of old age, blind, or physically disabled. Meanwhile, everybody else's Medicaid is subcontracted to private companies like Centene, Blue Cross, and United. Physicians like Ed Weisbart says cutting out the middleman and expanding the state-run Medicaid to all recipients would save Missouri a lot of money.
13% of not having to spend the money on the Medicaid, on the insurance company overhead, plus 5% more savings from improved clinical outcomes.
Weisbart says these savings would result in a net savings of over $250 million based on the most recent figures. Weisbart says even the most anti-government run healthcare Republicans are expressing interest in this. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
St. Louis City has a new health director, and as KMOX health editor Fred Bottomer reports, you may recognize the name from a similar job in the past.
Dr. Faisal Khan served as St. Louis County's health director from 2021 to 2022. He was a bit controversial due to his public health stance advocating the wearing of masks during the COVID pandemic. And in a July 2021 county council meeting, he got into a heated exchange with an angry anti-masking crowd. Dr. Khan later moved on to head up the Seattle King County Health Department in Washington. In a news release announcing his return, only this time to head up St. Louis City's health department, Dr. Khan says he looks forward to making a real difference in the health and quality of life for St. Louis City residents. Mayor Spencer called Dr. Khan a leader with deep regional knowledge and national executive experience. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
A cultural institution in Webster Groves asking for more funding through a property tax increase.
You've probably heard of Prop U, but St. Louis County residents will see another proposition on the ballot next week, Prop L. The Webster Groves Public Library is asking residents to approve a 12-cent property tax increase on every $100 worth of assessed property. However, the increase would drop by 4.5 cents in 2029 when the library's current tax levy expires. John Eagle is the reference librarian at Webster Groves Library. He says the library receives 90% of its funding from property taxes, and that rising costs, growing maintenance repairs, and the soon-to-expire tax levy are all reasons why the library needs the funding increase.
And actually, the library is really, truly one of the founding institutions, cultural institutions of Webster Groves. We can trace our lineage back to a small reading room in 1884. This is 12 years before the city even incorporated.
He says the community is largely behind the measure, and some residents have even taken to publicly endorsing the proposition on their own.
Our Friends of the Library group, which has been around for 50 years, they're a volunteer group, and they have yard signs. You see them all over town.
Eagle says it doesn't look like there's any opposition.
You know, there's no vote no yard signs.
Jade Aubrey, KMOX News.
Rural versus urban. How do voters across Missouri feel about the ballot question to eliminate the income tax by raising sales taxes? SLU and YouGov ran a statewide poll to gauge the interest. Political science professor Chris Duncan says there isn't any pattern across the board.
There are some differences between the urban and the rural folks over these things, but for the most part, right, it's pretty mixed still.
Duncan says the poll found voters were mostly against specific sales tax increases, although a majority of respondents to that poll earlier this year said new revenue should come from higher sales taxes.
New numbers from the St. Louis County Police Department show crime continues to fall in the suburbs. We get more from KMOX's Michael Calhoun.
Police data is out for the middle of the year, and it shows that crime in those county patrol parts of the area are trending down. That does not include areas that are patrolled by municipal police departments. Property crimes, including burglaries and break-ins, have fallen more than 7% compared to last year. Drug and weapons offenses fell over 12%. Now, violent crime is about flat. County detectives investigated 23 homicides through June. That is up 3 from last year with a 91% clearance rate. Chief Juan Cox is crediting proactive policing with officers averaging over 12,000 self-initiated calls a month.
One man is dead, another fighting for his life following an afternoon shooting in South St. Louis. Police called to the 3700 block of Juniata Street just west of Grand shortly before 4 p.m. Officers found 2 men shot at the scene. They tell Fox 2 the shooting was a result of a dispute between 2 male contractors. One victim died from his injuries. The other remains in critical condition.
5-year-old Clydesdale joining the St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department. Captain made his debut this week outside Busch Stadium, and that brings the total number of horses in the police department's mounted patrol unit to 4. The department says horses provide both a highly visible public safety presence and a unique opportunity for community engagement. In case you're wondering, Captain is 18.2 hands tall. That is 6'2", and he's described by police as calm-tempered.
An iguana was rescued yesterday after a pedestrian found it duct-taped to a tree. The iguana was spotted with his front legs taped together and his back legs taped to a tree along a trail in Darden Park. That's according to Fox 2. The St. Peter's Animal Control currently working to identify the owner who may have abandoned the reptile.
Well, that's sad. It's 7:08. We're going to take a break here and come back with another look at traffic and weather. Stay with us here on KMOX.
Congress doesn't need more politicians. For nearly 30 years, Joan Von Dross dedicated her life to helping students learn, grow, and succeed. Now she's running for Congress to fight for lower healthcare costs, stronger public schools, and a more affordable future for Missouri families. Teachers solve problems. Politicians play politics.
I'm Joan Von Dross, Democrat from Missouri CD2, and I approve this message. Vote for me on August 4th.
Paid for by Von Dross for Congress.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group, and I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney, and the truth is I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. After 15 years and over 50,000 cancellations, I can tell you with confidence, we know how to get you out of your timeshare. Call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit guide absolutely free with all your options for cancellation. Attorneys, this was meant to be funny, so please don't sue me, especially my friend Kenneth from Black River Falls, Wisconsin.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. 800-838-6767. 800-838-6767. 800-838-6767. And Doug.
Hot dog! Get your hot dog! Customize and save with Liberty Mutual.
Hey, what are you doing?
I like your method. Direct. To the point. A little loud, but...
Listen, people don't buy car insurance the same way they do hot dogs.
Not yet, but both are customizable.
Popcorn! Get your popcorn!
Hey, this is a hot dog area.
And customize and save area. Get a quote at libertymutual.com or with your local agent.
Liberty, 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 liberty. This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
7:10. Let's head back to the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center. Roger Brand, how do things look on the roads?
Well, better out to the west on 70, Megan, where we had our earlier troubles, our first troubles of the morning. We still have a little bit of a backup eastbound 70 through Wentzville Parkway and then past 64 toward Highway A. It's heavy, and southbound 61 backs up at Wentzville Parkway, merging onto eastbound 70 out in the Wentzville area as well. Other than that, the rest of the interstates look good, except just the one other trouble spot we had on eastbound 44. They did clear that crash that was in the left lane, eastbound 44 west of Six Flags. It should be on the right shoulder. It's just out of my vantage point around the bend, but there's still a bit of a jam up coming through there. A short one, but it is backed up briefly, so be prepared as you travel through there on eastbound 44. And then downtown eastbound 64, just a little heavy as you get on to 5570 eastbound. From 64 up through Exchange, it's down to one lane eastbound 5570. Again, it's just a little slow down there. I believe they said Clayton at Baxter. The signals are out, so treat that as a four-way stop. Next update at 7:20 from the Overhead Door Company at St. Louis Traffic Center. Mostly cloudy and humid today with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm rolling through. Mainly this morning, our high 83. Look for a thunderstorm or two early tonight. There can be flooding, downpours, hail, and damaging wind gusts. Then mostly cloudy and humid later tonight with the leftover shower, though 68. Mainly cloudy, breezy, and unseasonably cool tomorrow with a couple of showers, perhaps a thunderstorm, the high just 74. Some sunshine Sunday, still rather humid, the high 79. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Right now in downtown St. Louis, it's not raining here yet that I can tell. It's partly cloudy and 72 degrees.
Just 3 days until the trade deadline, and unfortunately, the Cardinals are not playing the way they would like to going into that. I'm Brian Feldman. We will break down last night's loss to the Cubs coming up in sports.
It's now 7:12. A longtime headquarters building for Peabody Energy is for sale. The building on Memorial Drive was built in 1957. It's on the National Register of Historic Places. It will be auctioned off in St. Louis City's next land tax sale on August 11th.
According to the Business Journal, the three-story building was last used by ICC, an engineering firm which bought it in 2013 after the building had been vacant for more than a decade. The appraised value is $1.7 million, but it could be purchased for the taxes owed the city, $342,000.
A South City business is helping a neighbor business reopen. Steve's Hot Dogs on South Grand launching a weekend fundraiser that will give 50% of sales of their St. Louis dog to the Gelateria Rebuilding Fund. A fire shut down the Gelateria several years ago. The owners have struggled to get it back open. Recently, they learned changes to Small Business Administration loans would require them to cough up another $120,000 up front.
On the flip side, a major local company, Anheuser-Busch, reporting higher second quarter revenue despite selling less beer in the United States. KMOX's Michael Calhoun has that story.
Anheuser-Busch InBev says higher prices and a shift toward premium brands helped to boost global revenue to over $16.6 billion. That's an 11% jump over last year. While actual beer shipments in the U.S. dipped slightly, revenue per barrel rose. The St. Louis-based brewer saw strong volume growth from Michelob Ultra and Busch Light, while its non-alcoholic beers and Cutwater canned cocktail lines both posted double-digit gains.
A major new addition heading to the Chesterfield Valley following a unanimous 7-0 vote by the Chesterfield City Council. Electric vehicle maker Rivian has the official sign-off to build a new hub at Chesterfield Commons.
While the site plan required a few late landscaping tweaks to meet city codes, Councilwoman Jane Cope says the building's architecture is a massive win for the area.
The design is beautiful, and Chesterfield residents, I think they're going to really love it. My subjective opinion, but it definitely will be the prettiest dealership, and it has this really big glass and a mural and so forth, and I think that goes very well with Chesterfield because we love art here.
Rivian executives say they want the specific location to serve as a premier national hub for the brand as they begin rolling out their next generation of midsize SUVs.
There are some big changes coming to the UFL as the league realigns its footprint. Executives confirming they are departing Birmingham and Houston as part of a long-term growth strategy. UFL's co-owner says future market selection will prioritize proper stadium sizing and strong fan support, two areas where the St. Louis Battlehawks have consistently led the league. The UFL plans to launch 2 replacement teams for 2027, followed by expansion into Oklahoma City and another market in 2028.
Good morning, I'm Brian Feldman. T-minus 3 days until the trade deadline in Major League Baseball, and Chaim Bloom's decision-making might be getting more clear by the day. Cardinals back under 500 after losing 3 of 4 to the Cubs at Busch. But don't blame Andre Pallante yesterday in the series finale. He was fantastic.
Andre pauses, delivers home, and that's grounded up the middle, but it's Mason Wynn covering some ground. He's got it, and he throws him out. Nice play by Mason, and another ground ball induced by Andre Pallante.
6 1/3 innings, 2 runs allowed for Dre. Just terrific. Unfortunately, his defense lets him down in the 4th.
Pitch by Pallante, hoping it's a good one. The one-strike pitch hit in the air to right field, well struck. Backing up is Nootbaar at the track, and he makes the catch on the warning track. He better get the ball in. There's only one out, Lars, and he does, and it gets way in the infield, and the Cubs may score a run, and they do. Lars Nootbaar forgot how many outs there were, and it cost the Cardinals a run.
That ties the game up at 1. The Cubs do add to the lead in the 7th until rookie J.J. Weatherholt makes his presence felt in the home half.
Count in his favor, 2-1. The pitch is hit high and deep to right field. He got it! Yes, he did! Weatherholt has tied the game. He hits a hanging curveball into the bleachers, and we're tied at 2 here in the 7th inning.
Just like Wednesday, it goes to extra innings, but once the Cubs take the lead on back-to-back doubles by Alex Bregman and Ian Happ, the Cardinals cannot come back for the second straight day. 4-2 the final at Busch. After the game, Lars Nootbaar on that air in the 4th inning.
100% take accountability on that one. Unacceptable. Obviously, being one of the veterans on this team, young team like that, it's just unacceptable from my standpoint. And just to compound it with, lazy throw just isn't right. And, I told the guys that I take full responsibility for this loss.
Cardinals start a 3-game series in Toronto tonight. After the game, manager Oliver Marmol announces left-handed pitching prospect Quinn Matthews will make his Major League debut this Saturday against the Blue Jays. In soccer,
For City SC's newest DP, the move to St. Louis wasn't only about changing clubs. Carlo Holze comes to the MLS after playing in Denmark and Turkey. And sporting director Corey Ray says City spent a lot of time making sure the player fit what the club wants both on and off the pitch.
A player that fits the club and the coaching profile, but also the due diligence on the background was very, very important to us. And to make sure that this guy is an exceptional human being as well as an exceptional soccer player.
And that interest went both ways. Holze says conversations with Ray and head coach Yohan DeMay gave him a picture of City's project, including exactly where DeMay believes he fits.
I had a call with Corey, I had a call with Yohan. He described the project, his playing style, where he could see me fit in that project. I was pretty sold after that first talk with Yohan. Crazy tactics. He really sold me on that one.
Holze arrives with City riding 3 straight wins above the playoff line and now trying to build on that momentum through the second half of the MLS season. Jen Cease, KMOX Sports.
your cut of the game sponsored by the Diamond Shop, diamondshop.net. With reports at 15 and 45 past the hour, I'm Brian Feldman on your home for St. Louis Cardinals baseball, KMOX.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, you're not alone. Most importantly, you don't have to live with it. Paramount Men's Medical Center restores men's sex lives in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, even when Viagra and Cialis don't work. Here's Dr. Simovitz, specialist in men's health.
Paramount Men's Medical Center's painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. 98% of patients see instant results right in the office.
Men are now lasting longer than they ever imagined. And the best part, at Paramount Men's Medical Center, your consultation and first treatment are free. Qualified patients even get their testosterone checked free. Call 314-720-8444. 314-720-8444. Take control of your sex life. Call now. 314-720-8444.
Can you believe politicians nearly doubled state spending since 2019? Yeah, that's twice the rate of inflation.
What do we get for all that extra spending? Nothing.
Yeah, and get this, over 200 loopholes are buried in our tax code, written by lobbyists for wealthy corporations.
Our tax code is rigged against us.
We get taxed on our paycheck, our home, everything we buy.
I guess somebody's got to pay for all that spending.
That's why we need Amendment 5. It puts politicians on a leash.
Forces them to cut taxes and control spending, whether they like it or not.
Amendment 5 closes the loopholes, eliminates income taxes, cuts property taxes, and gives $3,000 a year to average working families.
We decide, not the politicians.
Amendment 5 is the biggest tax cut in Missouri history.
I'm voting yes on Amendment 5. Paid for by Missouri Promise PAC. Mark Ellinger, Treasurer.
I'm Ultima Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Every time one of my children started driving, it was terrifying. Thousands of accidents happen across the country. We see it every day. If you've been injured in a car accident, call us.
Dial # law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Now the news at 9, The Talk. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
721, let's get the latest on your ride into work with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we just have a little slow traffic out to the west in the Wentzville area, Megan. Eastbound 70, just a little heavy coming through Wentzville Parkway where they're repairing those flats on the shoulder, and then it's just past 64. It bogs down a little bit again, merging on with the 61 traffic, and southbound 61 is a pretty solid jam, but just from Wentzville Parkway down to that 70 East ramp. There's still a little slow traffic on 44, but it's now east of 109 coming up the hill there through Lewis Road from the Merrimack. That backup was originally back near Six Flags where we had a crash in the left lane, but they moved it out of the off to the shoulder pretty quickly, so that's just volume pushing east. Other than that, the rest of the highways remain light and on the go. Again, with rain moving in, spotty showers, road conditions change, so just use a little caution on your drive, but there are no other problems interstate-wise at this time. Next update at 7:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It's going to be a cloudy day, and we could see a shower or thunderstorm. There is rain moving through the region right now. 83 degrees will be our high today, but we'll see some strong storms moving through tonight that could cause some flash flooding, hail, and damaging wind gusts. That's going to also push all the warm temperatures out because tomorrow's high just 74 degrees and mostly cloudy with a couple of showers and maybe a thunderstorm. It's 72 right now.
More news now at 7:22. Former St. Louis City Mayor Vince Schoemel has been named by Governor Mike Kehoe to the State Board of Education. Schoemel previously served as a board member of St. Louis Public Schools and is currently on the St. Louis Language Charter School Board. Schoemel served 4 terms as St. Louis City Mayor from 1981 until 1993.
From the transfer portal to revenue sharing, mid-major athletic departments are currently navigating a chaotic and rapidly shifting collegiate sports landscape. However, SIUE Athletic Director Andrew Gavin says they are finding ways to use the evolving rule book to their advantage.
The university just became the first Ohio Valley Conference school to secure a corporate jersey sponsor, announcing a multi-sport uniform deal with First Community Credit Union.
Yes, it's uncertain. There are things that are changing. We need to be adaptable. We need to react quickly to those changes. I think we need to not dwell solely on the challenges of those changes and really pursue what is the opportunity that this is presenting to a place like SIUE. And if we do that, it doesn't all go away. It's not going away.
The NCAA officially authorized the use of those on-field commercial logos earlier this year. First Community's branding will also be heavily featured during SIUE's new student convocation each August.
As KMOX reported, a federal mediator has been called in to help resolve a contract dispute between Roxana teachers and their district. Thursday, teachers staged an informational picket in front of the district's administration building on the same day parents were registering their children for school.
We've been at the table since January. We went over ground rules in January, and then really starting in March is when we really started coming to the table on a regular basis.
When does your contract expire with the district?
Our contract has already expired.
That's Roxana Education Association President Kim Jones.
Jones says key sticking points include the pay scale for more experienced teachers and a proposal to eliminate the current policy that allows teachers in the district to apply for vacancies before they're open to the public. In a statement sent to KMOX News, the Roxana School District says it respects the right of employees to express their views and advocate for their interests through the collective bargaining process. That statement adds the board and its administrative team are committed to bargaining in good faith.
Senator Tammy Duckworth of Illinois has introduced new legislation she says is designed to establish women's right to serve in combat. Duckworth says standards would be based on the demands of the job and not on gender. Her office says the proposal is a response to Department of Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth's decision to order a study examining the effectiveness of women in combat jobs.
In light of questions about the health of Senator Mitch McConnell, one Illinois member of Congress is telling her constituents about an upcoming medical leave. Here's Nancy Hardy.
Congresswoman Delia Ramirez is having surgery and taking several weeks off to recover. The Chicago Democrat made the announcement in a post to social media, but declined to offer specifics other than to say it's a planned leave over the August congressional break for a time-sensitive and medically required procedure. The U.S. House has been in recess for a week and is scheduled to resume August 31st. 43-year-old Ramirez shared the news, saying she acknowledges the American people's distrust in public officials and says her offices will reopen Tuesday.
Thousands of Illinois residents who lost federal SNAP benefits will get some special help from the state.
The newly launched Families Receiving Emergency Support for Hunger program will provide a one-time $400 benefit per household to an estimated 100,000 people in Illinois who were deemed ineligible for SNAP as of May 1st due to the federal government expanding required work rules. The money will be distributed through link cards, which is how SNAP recipients receive funds to buy groceries.
Festival goers began filling up Grant Park on day one of Lollapalooza. Carolina Garibay has more.
It appears to be Battle of the Boy Bands on the first day of Lollapalooza. The contenders:
5 Seconds of Summer, 5 Seconds of Summer,
5 Seconds of Summer, Taylor Gowdy and Mia Voice from Columbus, Ohio say they were the first fans in line, lining up bright and early at 6:15 to secure the best spot for the Australian band.
We want a decent spot, but we weren't anticipating being the first ones here. It just happened. They're our favorite band, and they always just put on such a great performance every time.
They care so much about their fans, and they really form a connection with everyone who listens to their music.
And not far behind them, Crystal Gutierrez, who traveled from New Hampshire to see Filipino boy band SB19. They're the first Filipino group to ever perform at Lollapalooza Chicago.
I think I might cry because it's my first time seeing them perform live at all. And we're really proud of them, so we're here to see the history being the making.
Carolina Garibay.
It is now 7:27. The time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Breaking news. Missouri will vote on Amendment 4 this August. Right now, a ballot measure passes in Missouri if it gets a majority of votes statewide. Amendment 4 would permanently end that. If Amendment 4 passes, it would rewrite the Missouri Constitution. So instead of using the total statewide vote to decide if something is approved, a measure would need to win a majority of votes separately in each of Missouri's 8 congressional districts in order to pass. So one district could veto the will of most Missourians. That means with Amendment 4, just 5% of voters could overrule what the majority of Missouri citizens want. Opponents of Amendment 4 say it undermines the sacred principle of one person, one vote, and takes away the people's power, giving it to politicians and special interests instead. Protect Majority Rule. Vote no on Amendment 4. Paid for by Protect Majority Rule Missouri. Mike Pridmore, Treasurer.
I'm Bill Eigel. I'm a no on data centers. Last year, when a new hyperscale data center was up for a vote in St. Charles City, I'm the only candidate for county executive who stood with you in opposition. Meanwhile, Steve Ellman was writing op-eds in support of data centers. In fact, he spent $400,000 of your taxpayer money to identify 6 locations just for data centers in St. Charles County. I'm Bill Eigel, and if you don't want data centers in our county, then I'm asking for your vote on August 4th.
Paid for by Eigel for Missouri. Lisa Borchers, Treasurer.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at Amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WebNow1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
New Game Plus with Oxy makes your laundry smell incredible and fights stubborn smells, like the ones your dog Biscuit brought into your freshly made bed last night. But you washed that all away with Game, and now you're drifting asleep to the scent and sound of waves. No, that's the dog licking your ear.
Biscuit.
It just might be our greatest scent ever. Now with odor-fighting power. New Game Plus with Oxy.
It is now 7:30, cloudy skies in downtown St. Louis, and currently 72 degrees. I'm Debbie Monterey.
And I'm Megan Lynch, and let's check in with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, it hasn't been a bad Friday morning, at least not recently. Started off a little rough out in Wentzville, but it sorted itself out there. And eastbound 70 coming out of Wentzville is not bad. It's a little busy with the merge on at 61, and then there's some slow traffic. Bryan Road in through Highway K, and then it opens up after you get past that point. Southbound 61, Wentzville Parkway down onto 64 or 70 is backed up. But once you hit 64, I mentioned the delay on 70, but 64 looks pretty good all the way in through the inner belt, actually, right now. Eastbound 44, I mentioned that jam that was out west of Six Flags from an earlier crash. That volume's just sort of shifting to the east. So now there's slow traffic down the hill from Antire headed for 141. Northbound 55 looks great. North 270 is no problem. On the Illinois side, just a little volume on eastbound 64 heading on to eastbound 5570 due to road work going on there, but the westbound run across the bridges looks great. Next update at 7:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Mostly cloudy today with some showers and thunderstorms moving through the area this morning, and then maybe a thunderstorm or two this evening that could be pretty strong with hail and flash flooding. The high today, 83. Tomorrow's high, just 74. It's already 73 downtown.
It's now 7:32 in the news. St. Louis County Police say data-driven patrols are helping drive down local crime rates. KMOX's Michael Calhoun explains.
Mid-year statistics that are just out show steady drops in property crimes and drug offenses across precincts in the county through June. Chief Juan Cox says the department is leaning into data-driven technology to make sure that officers are put into high crime spots before any trouble starts. County data shows officers logged more than 12,000 officer-initiated stops and checks per month so far this year. Cox says keeping frontline patrol units fully staffed is his top priority still to keep those crime numbers moving in the right direction.
3 people have now been charged with the murder and kidnapping of a woman who was found dead at Cementland along the North Riverfront in March of 2022. 25-year-old Deja Allen had been out buying diapers for her infant when Christian Houghton collided with Allen's car around Chain of Rocks Road in Riverview. According to the Post-Dispatch, Houghton's passengers, Jamont Ellis and Denzel Williams, hopped out with guns. Allen was shot multiple times. Allen's vehicle was set on fire. Her body was found 9 days later.
Amendment 5 on the ballot next week would rescind the income tax by offsetting it with higher sales taxes. Total Information AM asked how popular are the potential new sales taxes.
A poll by YouGov and SLU asked about Amendment 5 and traditionally sales tax exempt services that could find themselves the target of new increases. Chris Duncan, a political science professor at St. Louis University, says while a majority of those polled believe Missouri should rely on the sales tax to raise more revenue, where those sales taxes come from was unpopular.
Accounting services, services in automobile places, real estate, right? You start to see a real fall off, and support for those gets way, way down into the 30% range.
Duncan says if Amendment 5 were to pass, deciding where the new sales tax revenue comes from will be its own individual battles. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com at 7:34.
Registered lobbyist Mike Deering is not the kind of guy you want in the state Senate.
Did you say he was a registered lobbyist?
Sure did. When conservatives like Tricia Burns tried to pass a bill to take back the 300,000 acres in Missouri allowed to be controlled by China, lobbyist Mike Deering testified against it. When conservatives like Tricia Burns fought alongside Missouri cattlemen to require foreign beef to be labeled, lobbyist Mike Deering testified against that too. While conservatives like Tricia Burns are fighting to protect your farmland from being paved over by data centers, lobbyist Mike Deering described Google's Montgomery County hyperscale data center as a
very positive thing.
Deering also endorsed liberal Democrat Chris Koster for governor and openly mocked President Trump. Registered lobbyist Mike Deering, anti-Trump, pro-Democrat, bought out by foreign ag interest, and in love with data centers. Take down data center Deering on August 4th. Vote America First conservative warrior Tricia Burns for state senate.
Paid for by Mo Constitutional Conservative Council PAC, Scott Lady Treasurer.
I love days like these at the pool, but my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can sometimes take me out of the moment. I'm ready to make a splash with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza. Skyrizi is a prescription-only injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. At 4 months, most people saw 90% clearer skin when measured from head to toe, and many were even 100% plaque-free. People also saw significant improvement in psoriasis symptoms of pain, redness, itching, and burning.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Now there's nothing on my skin thanks to Skyrizi, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis. Visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Your Money Report now. It's sponsored by Busey Bank.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute.
Apple has been struggling to secure enough computer processors while dealing with soaring memory costs, a situation that's forced the company to raise prices on Macs and iPads last month. The supply crunch has also led to extended wait times on key products like the Mac Mini and Mac Studio. Apple is selling plenty of iPhones, but the company could be delivering even more. The component shortage is weighing on Apple's sales forecast, sending shares sharply lower in early trading. But that's not stopping stocks this morning. Futures are on the rise after Amazon reported strong earnings results. Its cloud business posted a fifth straight quarter of accelerating growth. And LinkedIn has a new mission to clean up AI-generated junk in its feed. So the company unveiled a Seems Like AI slot button for users to report low-quality posts. The change follows growing user complaints about the flood of AI-generated content on the platform, with some going as far to call out authors for the telltale signs of AI writing. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
This is the Let's Revitalize Our Neighborhoods commitment. This is the Roll Up Our Sleeves and Pitch In commitment. This is Busey, where our commitment to strengthen our communities is a top priority. Through energetic, engaged volunteers, through monetary support, community leadership, and advocacy. Because Busey is more than a bank that does well, we're a bank that does good. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth, since 1868. Member FDIC.
Steve Ellman leads. Ellman enacted a data center moratorium. He doubled our parkland, built new roads, prioritized safe schools and streets, eliminated the county's real property tax. Ellman for St. Charles County. Bill Eigel misleads. Eigel talks but didn't pay his property taxes, but voted to give tax credits to the company behind the St. Charles Data Center, and was rebuked by Trump's lawyer for scamming donors.
Paid for by the committee to elect Steve Ellman, Michael Summer Jr., Treasurer.
Wouldn't it be great if life came with a remote control? You know, you could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind. Like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest. Uh-oh. Or that time you forgot to roll up your windows in the car wash.
Fantastic.
Yeah, a remote control would have come in handy then. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Life doesn't come with a remote control. Yikes! So you're on your own with the wasps. You have the power to take control of prediabetes. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
Hey guys, this is Kevin Wheeler. If you're looking for a little kick in the pants when it comes to dropping a little weight, getting better shape, getting more into the gym, think about Burn Balance Complex, which you can pick up at Supplement Superstores. I've been using it since it came out. It's fantastic. You notice right away the difference. Look, we all have busy schedules. I do and you do. You know, we all have problems sometimes with controlling our eating patterns and staying on a plan. Well, Burn Balance Complex makes that so much easier. It's not magic, but it definitely helps make it easier. It is a complete metabolism system. It's not just a fat burner. So what you're talking about is a natural weight loss option. So if you're a person that doesn't want to go get a prescription, you're not into injections, this is a great choice for you. In addition to the metabolism boost, you get to lower stress and cortisol levels, get better sleep. It can help control appetite and cravings, all-day focused energy with no jitters, no crash at the end of the day. If you want the help, and look, we all need it, I know I do, go to Supplement Superstores, tell them your story, mention Kevin Wheeler, and they'll knock 30% off the Burn Balance Complex. You can find your location at supplementsuperstores.com.
Get inside your Redbirds in the 2026 season every Tuesday at noon. It's All Access with Cardinals manager Ollie Marmol on your voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
It's 7:40. Let's see how things are moving on the roads on this Friday morning. Roger Brand has the latest from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Most folks are doing pretty well so far, Megan. This traffic reports the service of the Sandberg Phoenix Law Firm. The biggest delays we have are slow going on eastbound 44 from Antire all the way up through about Miraz, east of Bulls there. It's just very busy, rain showers and volume from an earlier wreck out west is sort of pushing to the east right now. If you're on northbound 270, there's a little slowdown north of 44. A minor crash pretty much to the right shoulder, south 270 at 44. North 270 is a little slow right through Olive. Eastbound 70, a little delay at Wensville Parkway, and then it's slow from K through TR Hughes midway into 79. They were reporting a crash westbound 70 near Mid Rivers. I don't see anything so far. Southbound 61 slow from Wentzville Parkway down to eastbound 70. And on the Illinois side, eastbound 64, a short backup approaching 5570 due to road work. Next update is 750 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
At Sandberg Phoenix, we're more than just a law firm. We're partners committed to you, your business, and your community. From family law to litigation, we're ready to serve. Visit sandbergphoenix.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
7:42. Let's get a check right now on the weather from our AccuWeather meteorologist, Joe Lundberg. And I know, Joe, that you've said that there is rain moving our way. I don't see it downtown quite yet, though.
No, it's probably in the next 20 to 30 minutes. It's in the Fenton area right now. St. Charles is seeing some rain. And there's just more of these where it came from. Another batch of showers and thunderstorms just coming through the Wentzville area, and it's just piled up most of the way across the state. It's dried out in Kansas City, but again, this is all shifting eastward. There's going to be some downpours and poor visibility, certainly through the morning and midday hours, before just a shower or thunderstorm in the area this afternoon. I don't think any of this is going to be severe during the daylight hours. Our high temperature will get to 83. Could be some severe stuff early tonight. There's a couple of thunderstorms come on through, gusty winds, downpours, maybe some hail. Then late tonight, a couple of leftover showers. By morning, we're in the upper 60s. For tomorrow, we'll call it cool for this time of the year. We're not getting out of the 70s. Overcast skies, gusty breezes, a couple of showers, maybe a thunderstorm. Our high 74. Warms to 79 with some sun returning on Sunday. And pretty good weather early next week. Partly sunny Monday, high 81. The warmth builds Tuesday with sunshine into mid-80s. Right now, it's 75 at St. Peter's, Florissant 76 and mostly cloudy. Rain imminent downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Just 3 days until the trade deadline, and the decision-making process might be getting a little bit easier for the Cardinals. I'm Brian Feldman. Sports coming up in 2 minutes.
It's 7:43. There could be a major deal in Gaza. Details from ABC News Chief Global Affairs anchor Martha Raddatz.
President Trump announcing U.S. negotiators have reached a deal with Hamas to lay down its weapons and relinquish its control over Gaza. U.S. officials who briefed reporters late last night say Hamas has agreed to disarm and transfer power in Gaza, as long as Israel withdraws from the Strip. The proposed move, part of a peace deal announced by President Trump and his newly formed Board of Peace.
So far, there are few details about the plan. Neither Hamas nor Israel have commented.
According to the Defense Department, records reviewed by ABC News, traumatic brain injuries have emerged as the leading wound that troops have suffered in the first 5 months of this war in Iraq. The records were first reported on by Warhorse. According to the Defense Department, 653 U.S. troops have been wounded since this conflict began. Most hurt are Army soldiers. The overwhelming majority have TBIs or traumatic brain injuries.
Alita Chambers, adjutant and treasurer of Disabled American Veterans in Fayetteville, North Carolina, says those injuries can follow veterans long after they leave the battlefield. The Air Force veteran helps returning soldiers get the care they need at home.
It's very painful to watch the veterans actually going through these issues and trying to heal, and then they also have to fight for their benefits through a different window. So that's why we're here to advocate and support for them.
It is 7:45.
Good morning, I'm Brian Feldman. With the trade deadline just a few days away, each Cardinals loss might be making the decisions a little bit easier for Chaim Bloom. The Cards fall again yesterday to the Cubs 4-2 in 10 innings, dropping back under 500 to 54-55 on the season. And this loss seemed preventable from the start. Andre Pallante pitching amazing. He's got the Cubs shut down for the first 3 innings. Cardinals up 1 in the 4th when Ian Happ steps to the plate with a runner on second.
Pitch by Pallante, hoping it's a good one. The one-strike pitch hit in the air to right field, well struck. Backing up is Nootbaar at the track, and he makes the catch on the warning track. He better get the ball in. There's only one out, Lars, and he does, and it gets way in the infield, and the Cubs may score a run, and they do. Lars Nootbaar forgot how many outs there were, and it cost the Cardinals a run.
That ties the game up at 1. The Cubs add to the lead in the top of the 7th until rookie J.J. Weatherholt makes his presence felt in the home half.
Count in his favor, 2-1. The pitch is hit high and deep to right field. He got it! Yes, he did! Weatherholt has tied the game. He hits a hanging curveball into the bleachers, and we're tied at 2 here in the 7th inning.
The Cardinals threaten in the 9th, but cannot push one across. So to extra innings we go again. Except this time, no late-game heroics coming. The Cubs take the lead, and that is it.
The 2-2 delivery is a hit towards the right field line, and it's fair. It's going down the line, and Bregman's headed to second base. The throw from Nootbaar is not in time, and the Cubs have taken the lead here in the 10th inning on the hit by Bregman the other way.
4-2 the final at Busch. The Cards now 3 games out of the final wild card spot in the National League, but more importantly, behind 5 teams. They start a 3-game series in Toronto tonight. After the game, manager Oliver Marmol announces left-handed pitching prospect Quinn Matthews will make his major league debut this Saturday against the Blue Jays. The trade deadline Monday, and while action around the league's been pretty slow, it could be starting to pick up. The Mets reportedly sending left-handed pitcher A.J. Minter to the Twins for a couple minor leaguers. New York expected to make several moves before the deadline after what's been a very disappointing first few months of the season for the Mets. In soccer,
St. Louis City SC is adding another major piece to its attack, and sporting director Corey Ray says the club knew exactly what it was looking for. 27-year-old Danish midfielder Carlo Holze comes from Turkish side Samsunspor as a new designated player for a City team that's won 3 straight since the World Cup break and is currently above the playoff line. Ray says the scouting went well beyond goals and assists.
Some of the off-the-ball movements, he's selfless in his ability to recognize and time his runs in behind, his willingness to also drop in and provide overloads in certain areas as well. Fans should also be quite interested to see what he does off the ball.
And Holze says he welcomes the challenge of big expectations for a player acquired through a club record $6 million transfer fee.
That's the kind of player I want to be. I want to have a big impact on the team, defensively, offensively. I would describe myself as a two-way player. I don't see that as a problem. I see it as a nice goal.
Holze joins fellow newcomer Alexandro Matan as part of a strengthened City attack for the last half of the MLS season. Jen Cease, KMOX Sports.
With reports at 15 and 45 past the hour, I'm Brian Feldman on your home for St. Louis Cardinals baseball, KMOX.
When Donald Trump needs conservative votes to help pass his agenda for Missouri, Representative Tricia Burns never answers the call. Tricia Burns has missed 370 votes. Burns is bucking President Trump's priorities. Burns did not vote to stop DEI initiatives, prevent China from owning Missouri land, defund Planned Parenthood, and Burns did not vote to ban boys from girls' sports. Tricia Burns not showing up for Missouri and President Trump. Instead, Tricia Burns spends her time pulling pranks on the suicide prevention hotline. Yes, you heard that right. Tricia Burns lied to the police and staged a fake suicide emergency. She sent a series of messages to the hotline and said she, quote, had a gun to her head, end quote. When she got caught, she said there'd be no consequences because she's a politician. By August 4th, vote to show Tricia Burns that there are consequences to being bad at your job.
Let's Go Brandon PAC paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. Chris Voss, Treasurer.
Summer is officially here, and that means the family internet, it is working overtime. All our lives are always online, and that's why I rely on i3 Broadband. Traditional cable just can't keep up, but i3 delivers 100% true fiber directly into my home for ultra-smooth, reliable performance. Plus, they're a local provider that actually treats you like a neighbor. Skip the fake fiber. Head over to i3broadband.com/radio today or call 866-806-5485 to upgrade because life runs better on fiber, and i3 Broadband is here for you.
The 3-2 pitch with the runner going a swing.
Ready to elevate your game? Join the MBA Sportscasters Forum on Tuesday, September 15th in St. Louis. Learn from Cardinals beat reporters, broadcasters, and Hall of Famer John Rooney as they break down play-by-play, reporting, interviewing, and covering the game. Then cap off the day with the Cardinals versus Giants at Busch Stadium. Step into the booth, sharpen your skills. Go to KMOX.com/events for details and registration. Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM KMOX. Now the news at 1 the fun. It's the Dave Glover Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It's Friday morning. Let's see how things are moving on the roads with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we're slow right now, Megan, on northbound 270, approaching, let's call it north of Tesson Ferry up through 44. Rain showers in the area starting to slow traffic down. Of course, eastbound 44 delays west of 141 into 270. If you're on eastbound 64, there's a little heavy traffic between Clarkson and Timberlake, but it looks great both ways on 64 at 170 right now. Out west, we're looking pretty good, but eastbound 70 is slow. 370 through Cave Springs. The 270 ramp lanes at 70 look a little bit busy. Manchester at Baxter. Signals are out. Manchester police say it was a transformer fire. They have stop signs up at the intersection Manchester at Baxter, so there's just short jams east and westbound Manchester at that point. And on the Illinois side, the only backup is eastbound 64 backed up from 3rd Street on the 5570 through Exchange because it's down to one lane for road work there. Next update at 7:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Today is going to just be a cloudy day. We could see, we'll see. You're probably seeing it already, depending on where you are. Some showers or even a storm moving through this morning. Then the rest of the day, just mostly cloudy, around 83. Tonight, we could see a couple of strong thunderstorms moving through with some flash flooding, hail, and damaging wind gusts. And by tomorrow, mostly cloudy with a high of just 74 degrees. We are almost there now because it's 73 downtown.
The news continues at 7:52. Now we know who will be succeeding longtime newsman Mike Bush as lead evening anchor at KSTK Channel 5.
Good morning. I'm Mike Bush in the News Channel 5 newsroom. Breaking news at this hour. News Channel 5 has learned...
Station officials announced veteran broadcaster Steve Savard will step into the anchor position on August 13th, succeeding Bush, who's retiring after 41 years at the station. Bush and Savard both used to be sports directors before moving to news.
Savard, a Parkway North graduate and 6-time Emmy winner, previously spent 27 years at KMOV and served for 16 years as the radio voice of the St. Louis Rams. He'll co-anchor KSDK's 5, 6, and 10 broadcasts.
If you ever get to see a World War II movie called Fortitude, it will have made a very unusual journey to the screen. That's because the producers of the film are now suing Netflix after a hard drive copy was stolen from the streamer's offices in Southern California. That copy, known as a DCP or digital cinema package. Larry Perrell got more on the lawsuit from legal analyst and entertainment attorney Jonathan Handel.
The producer apparently delivered an unencrypted copy of the film on a hard disk, an unencrypted DCP. DCPs should always be encrypted, should never leave a facility without encryption when you've got a completed film on them. There's fault on both sides here. There certainly is fault on the producer side for letting an unencrypted copy of this movie leave a secure facility. Netflix sounds like it was negligent in leaving a hard disk on an office desk where it and other hard disks apparently were stolen. But the producers are suing for $105 million, and they say that they derived that figure by assuming that the picture would break even because there's been strong interest, and therefore the movie would have to do 2.5 times its budget, and it would recoup because there's strong interest. Well, according to page 6, the worldwide rights for this movie still remain available. So this is an unsold movie. It's a very, very, very speculative damages figure. Netflix will probably ultimately, in some kind of a settlement, have some liability. $105 million, that's a laughing figure.
When you say both are liable for a lapse in judgment, like Netflix should have said, well, we don't take anything that's not encrypted. And somebody on the other side, on the producer side, says, well, I'm going to deliver this to you unencrypted and just let me know when you're done with it, erase it, and then I'll come pick it up. I mean, that seems like there's some liability on the producer side too. Almost seems more so in some respects.
I think so. I think the producer has the stronger duty here. It's the producer's property, and it's the producer's responsibility to safeguard this concentrated economic effort. It was a $45 million picture. It apparently tells the true story of a Playboy spy in World War II who was the inspiration for Ian Fleming's James Bond. The picture stars Nicolas Cage. So it is a picture that would seem to have some interest, but the producer sending it out unencrypted, that's a lapse in tradecraft that James Bond wouldn't have tolerated.
It seems almost unexcusable, right? I mean, and it begs the question, too, will the release be withheld until this gets resolved, right? Or will they try to rush a release out, get this thing distributed if someone's willing to buy it with maybe a copy being out there?
Well, they argue that it's now going to be harder to sell because any distributor would have to be notified, and at this point, of course, would know from the press reports that potentially there's a copy out there. Netflix, pointing to the fact that other hard drives were stolen that apparently had nothing on them, they were Netflix drives, says they think it's more likely that the thief was just stealing these hard drives for the value of the metal, for cash, not for the value of the movies on them.
Hollywood legal analyst Jonathan Handel.
If you're in the mood for some summer fun this weekend, the Super Fair opens tonight at Worldwide Technology Raceway, and it runs through August 9th. A Super Fair includes rides, games, classic fair food, and a circus. The fair opens at 5 on weekdays and 3 p.m. on weekends.
It's now 7:56. We'll check traffic in 2 minutes.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group. And I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney. And the truth is, I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. After 15 years and over 50,000 cancellations, I can tell you with confidence, we know how to get you out of your timeshare. Call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit guide absolutely free with all your options for cancellation. Attorneys, this was meant to be funny, so please don't sue me, especially my friend Kenneth from Black River Falls, Wisconsin.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. 800-838-6767. 800-838-6767. 800-838-6767.
Hi, thanks for calling Uline.
Wait, did the phone even ring?
Nope.
Okay, so you answered before the ring. But now you're going to put me on hold, right?
We don't do that here. We're real people answering the phone, ready to help with your order when you are.
Uline has thousands of quality products for your business and warehouse needs, always in stock, ready to ship same day, and backed by Uline's legendary 24/7 customer service. Uline, we warehouse for you.
Hey, it's Brew, and I feel like everything in my life depends on being connected. Whether I'm uploading a video, hopping on a call before my show, or video chatting with my family back in Michigan, I never have to think about my Wi-Fi. And that's why Xfinity stands out. You get the most reliable, fiber-powered Wi-Fi with the best equipment at one price for 5 years guaranteed. No contracts or commitments. Plus, you can get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. Use of fiber or coaxial cable. Learn more at xfinity.com/same-day Wi-Fi. Xfinity, imagine that.
Let's hope you never need a personal injury lawyer, but if you do, know who to call before you need one. Mark Cantor and the team at Cantor Injury Law have been helping injured Missourians for over 30 years. Give them a call at 314-628-9999 or visit cantorinjurylaw.com. Injured, you can count on Cantor.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
Don't miss Mosby Building Arts Home Improvement Show, Saturdays from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on KMOX. One of the last call-in shows where you can get live answers to your remodeling, design, and construction questions. Tune in Saturdays at 11 a.m.
Here is Roger Brand and the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, W North 270 is slow approaching Tesson Ferry up to 44. Eastbound 44, east of 141 into 270s. Rain slowed right now as well. Eastbound 64 between Clarkson and Timberlake, both ways around Spady. A little busy. South 270 approaching 364 through Olive is heavy. Next update at 8:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
We do have some rain in the area. 73 degrees downtown at the Arch. Here's what's coming up next hour, where people working to make outdoor spaces in the city more beautiful. You can find out more after the news.
In case you missed it, Total Information AM will catch you up on this week's top stories coming up at 8:24.
Plus, KMOX travel editor Peter Greenberg will tell us about the secret flights that all of us can take if we know how and where to find them.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. Mostly cloudy and humid today with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm, mainly in the morning, the high 83.
This is Total Information AM, and it continues after ABC News at the top of the hour. This is KMOX.
Celebrating 100 years of informing and entertaining. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. The voice of St. Louis.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. More fighting in the Middle East. Here's ABC Chief Global Affairs Correspondent Martha Raddatz.
It is escalating and spreading throughout the region with no clear strategy of how this ends. A drone strike in Egypt, Kuwait, Saudi, and the Houthis now in a showdown again. And these continued strikes on Iran and threats of larger ones have so far had little effect on the Iranians.
Escalating along with the fighting, oil company profits. Chevron and Exxon both reporting huge numbers from April through June. Exxon's profits doubled in the second quarter. Chevron's nearly quadrupled. At least 34 people have died in Spain's border crisis with Morocco this week. Thousands of migrants breached the border between Morocco and the Spanish enclave of Ceuta. Unclear what sparked the rush of people. Another heat dome settling over the west. Las Vegas could hit its hottest temperature ever this weekend. Oregon on the lookout for wildfires thanks to drought conditions and high wind gusts. This is ABC News. Republican Senators John Cornyn and Thom Tillis still holding out on confirming Todd Blanche to be the next Attorney General. They say they want written assurances that the IRS settlement reached with President Trump will not be moving forward. In Washington, here's ABC's Karen Hua.
The controversial part of the settlement involves a $1.8 billion so-called anti-weaponization fund of taxpayer money to compensate people who claim they were unfairly targeted by government prosecutors. Those people could include rioters who stormed the Capitol on January 6th. Blanche recently said after a widespread backlash that the fund is not being established, but he never put that promise on paper. Senator Tillis suggests one of Trump's advisors wants to revive the fund.
Senior FIFA advisor Carlos Cordeiro on the White House task force for the World Cup has resigned this morning in protest over FIFA's plan to sell a stake in the World Cup to private equity. FIFA President Gianni Infantino says the plan has been misinterpreted. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
At 8:02, we have cloudy skies, windy, 73 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Friday, July 31st. I'm Megan Lynch. New numbers from the St. Louis County Police Department show crime continues to fall in the suburbs. Here's KMOX's Michael Calhoun.
Police data is out for the middle of the year, and it shows that crime in those county patrol parts of the area are trending down. That does not include areas that are patrolled by municipal police departments. Property crimes, including burglaries and break-ins, have fallen more than 7% compared to last year. Drug and weapons offenses fell over 12%. Now, violent crime is about flat. County detectives investigated 23 homicides through June. That is up 3 from last year, with a 91% clearance rate. Chief Juan Cox is crediting proactive policing, with officers averaging over 12,000 self-initiated calls a month.
2 contractors who'd been renovating a home in Tower Grove Heights pulled guns on each other yesterday. One is dead, the other in critical condition. It happened in the 3700 block of Juniata, just off South Grand, around 350. The identities of the 2 men have not been released. Police are still trying to figure out what started the dispute. The men had been working on the home for some time. Both weapons have been recovered. The medical release of former Sangamon County, Illinois deputy who's serving time for the murder of we don't have that name, will be delivered in Illinois today. Earlier this month, Grayson filed for medical release, citing his previous colon cancer diagnoses, which his attorney said in January had progressed to stage 4 and spread to his lungs and liver. The Prisoner Review Board set to deliberate Grayson's request today, starting at 9 a.m. A familiar and somewhat controversial face returning to St. Louis to head up the city's health department. KMOX health editor Fred Bottomer reports.
Dr. Faisal Khan served as St. Louis County's health director from 2021 to 2022 in the midst of the COVID pandemic, and got into it with angry residents during a county council meeting regarding health orders and masking policies. Dr. Khan later moved on to head up the Seattle-King County Health Department in the state of Washington. In a news release announcing Dr. Khan's return to head up the city's health department, Mayor Kara Spencer called Dr. Khan a leader with deep regional knowledge and national executive experience that will be key in addressing long-standing public health challenges in St. Louis. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
A group of physicians is pushing Missouri lawmakers to expand the state-run portion of Medicaid to all patients on the program, arguing the savings could be more than $250 million. Physician Ed Weisbart says currently the state pays private companies to operate Medicaid for 80% of recipients, the 20% of blind, disabled, and elderly under a state-run Medicaid program. Weisbart says even the most anti-state-run healthcare Republicans are open to the idea after talking with him.
He doesn't really like the idea of Medicare. He doesn't like the idea of Medicaid. If anything, he thinks Medicaid should be significantly cut. And then he heard what we were talking about, which would actually give him the cover to be cutting the Medicaid budget, but yet clearly not hurting and actually helping patients.
Weisbart says the savings would come from the lack of corporate overhead the subcontracted insurance companies have and better preventative care through the state-run program. Amendment 4 would drastically raise the bar to amend the Missouri Constitution. How hard would it be to meet the new threshold?
If Amendment 4 were to pass, any future changes to the Constitution would require a 50% majority from each congressional district, not just statewide. Chris Duncan, political science professor at St. Louis University, says this could essentially give veto power to any one district.
This would give effectively, the opportunity for one district to trump the will of the 7 other districts in some, sort of very skewed kind of race.
Duncan says this takes a strong democratic process and makes it very hard for citizen initiative to pass. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
You've probably heard of Prop U, but what about Prop L?
St. Louis County residents will see a Proposition L on their ballots next week. The measure is championed by Webster Groves Public Library and is seeking approval for a 12-cent increase for the library's property tax levy, meaning residents' property taxes would go up. The library's current tax levy was approved in 2009 and is set to expire in 2029.
That would take effect for 2026, 2027, and 2028. And then when that 2009 levy drops off, then really the increase over today would be about 8.5 cents. And that's 8.5 cents or 12 cents per $100 of valuation.
That's John Eagle, Webster Groves reference librarian. He says the funding increase is necessary for a few reasons, mainly because the library operates like a school and is its own taxing district, meaning 90% of its funding comes from local property taxes. He adds that the proposition is on the ballot this year because when the current levy expires in 2029, the library's funding would match or be below its operational costs.
We're doing this now. We're planning ahead so that we're not in that position.
Jade Aubrey, KMOX News.
Coming up on Total Information AM, we're going to have, in case you missed it, we're going to tell you about some outdoor beautification efforts going on in the region. Plus, we're going to tell you about some secret air flights you can take with travel editor Peter Greenberg. That's all ahead in the next half hour of Total Information AM. First, though, we're going to get a check of the roads and the weather. That's in 2 minutes. It's now 8:08.
Can you believe politicians nearly doubled state spending since 2019? Yeah, that's twice the rate of inflation.
What do we get for all that extra spending? Nothing.
Yeah, and get this, over 200 loopholes are buried in our tax code, written by lobbyists for wealthy corporations.
Our tax code is rigged against us.
We get taxed on our paycheck, our home, everything we buy.
I guess somebody's got to pay for all that spending.
That's why we need Amendment 5. It puts politicians on a leash.
Forces them to cut taxes and control spending, whether they like it or not.
Amendment 5 closes the loopholes, eliminates income taxes, cuts property taxes, and gives $3,000 a year to average working families.
We decide, not the politicians.
Amendment 5 is the biggest tax cut in Missouri history.
I'm voting yes on Amendment 5. Paid for by Missouri Promise PAC, Mark Ellinger, Treasurer.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. But at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited everything for just $35 a line. That's $35 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data. Switch to the carrier ranked #1 in network coverage and customer satisfaction and get unlimited everything for just $35 a month. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit Consumer Cellular online or in-store today. Price includes $5 credit for autopay and e-billing. Taxes and fees apply. Data speeds reduced after 35 gigabytes. Rankings done by 2025 ACSI survey.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2026 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aid.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Total Information AM. The news continues on 104.1 FM KMOX.
8:10, Friday mornings typically fairly easy on the roads. Let's see if that is still the case. Roger Brand has the latest from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, the rain's made it a little more difficult in spots, Megan. In fact, I'm looking at one trouble spot right now on eastbound 64. First of all, eastbound 64 is slow from about the Chesterfield Airport Road exit to about Boone's Crossing between Clarkson and Timberlake. But we have a jam at Ballas up to a crash. Emergency crews just pulled up on the scene. It's eastbound 64 just east of Spady. Right lane's blocked. The 3 left lanes are open at that point. Westbound 64 is just a little slow. Clayton Skinker out through like Bellevue. Eastbound 44 better, but Bowles to the Merrimack still busy. And east of Lindbergh in through Barry looks a little slow. Northbound 270 from 55 up to 44, rain slowed traffic there. Northbound 55, the right lane south of Butler Hill up to 270 are kind of off the pace due to the weather as well, I'm sure. Eastbound 70, just a little slow approaching 94. That doesn't look bad. South 170 from Frost all the way down to Highway 70 and eastbound 70 through that Interbelt area looks a little heavy. And we still have this jam eastbound 64 from 3rd Street on to 5570 due to the road work between there and Exchange. Next update at 8:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
KMOX AccuWeather. Today will be mostly cloudy and humid with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm, mainly this morning, the high 83. A thunderstorm or two early tonight. Watch for flash flooding, hail, and damaging wind gusts. Then mostly cloudy and muggy later tonight with a shower, though 68. Mostly cloudy, breezy, and cooler, but still humid tomorrow with a couple of showers, even a thunderstorm, the high just 74. On Sunday, rather humid with intervals of clouds and sun, high 79. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
And we do have rain moving into the downtown St. Louis from the west. Some places are already getting some rain, including St. Peter's, 74 degrees there, 75 in Florissant, and we have clouds right now, windy, 73 downtown at the Arch. You're listening to Total Information AM here on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch, and here's Debbie Monterey.
Well, you know that I love beautification projects, especially in the city, and that usually starts with cleaning things up. We've done a lot of litter-related pickups, and we're proud of that. But, you know, it also means plants and a lot of greenery. So let's talk about the Outdoor Leadership Corps, because a lot of that beautiful greenery may be because of the OLC. Joining us right now is Josh Ward with Great Rivers Greenway. Welcome.
Thank you.
And Fletcher with the Missouri Botanical Garden.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, who wants to start off by explaining what the Outdoor Leadership Corps is?
I can take that.
Okay.
So the Outdoor Leadership Corps is a paid green education and workforce development program provided by Missouri Botanical Garden in partnership and funded by Great Rivers Greenway. So we have a crew of 5 participants that go out 2 cohorts a year in spring and fall, and they're performing ecological restoration along our greenways, gaining hands-on conservation experience, leadership training, and opportunities to connect with partners and potential employers along the way as they're working on these restoration projects along the greenways.
Fletcher, I know a lot of people love to volunteer with the Missouri Botanical Garden, but this is a paid position. So this is not stuff that's happening in the garden. This is out in the community. So why is the Botanical Garden involved?
Sure, that's a great question. Well, we have another sister program of Outdoor Leadership Corps called Outdoor Youth Corps, which is for youth ages 16 to 20, and that just had its 10-year anniversary last year. And we saw an opportunity with Great Rivers Greenway to provide extra opportunities for them to continue to gain workforce experience in conservation. And then we also wanted to fill a need within the community in partnership with Great Rivers Greenway as well. They really needed more help along the greenways, and we really wanted to invest in the community, invest in those projects.
What are some of the things people may have seen that the OLC has worked on?
We've had them working on a variety of projects over the years. They do focus a lot on invasive species control, which is one of the biggest challenges we have as far as natural resource management within our communities. Bush honeysuckle is a big problem. That's an invasive species that we're dealing with often. So they have worked in a lot of woodland areas, clearing honeysuckle, opening it up, making it a better habitat for wildlife and just a more enjoyable experience for people along the trails. They have planted a pollinator garden at North Riverfront Park. They have helped us lead volunteer tree planting events in partnership with Forest Relief of Missouri, maintained a lot of those tree plantings that they've helped establish. They're kind of all over the place.
Yeah, I really think the big noticeable things will be at the entrances of some of the greenways. So, for example, St. Vincent's Greenway, as you enter in that area, it has just been completely cleared, and you can see into the forest. You can see the creek now. Same with, what's the one with the cave? Cliff Cave. Cliff Cave was a major project. That was also in partnership with another workforce development program, AmeriCorps St. Louis, that Great Rivers Greenway also supports. So we work in tandem with them to get kind of these bigger projects going as well. So really it's the entrance of a lot of places that you're going to see, and then we're working our way slowly down those trails to continue clearing out honeysuckle and invasive species.
So when we say conservation, what are we talking about exactly?
I would say the majority of that is natural area restoration or reconstructions. So, a lot of the woodlands will work to restore those to more of their natural state. But there are some areas where we're just establishing prairie vegetation where prairies didn't typically exist, but they're still providing benefit where we're placing them along greenways and in our community green spaces and parks. A lot of this community conservation, we like to call it community conservation. A lot of that work is not only about creating these nice ecological areas and having that environmental benefit, but it's also about people. So providing opportunity for people to get out and connect with nature close to home and get all the benefits that go along with that. And then there's just all the ecosystem services that these kind of landscapes provide our communities. They're helping provide cleaner air, cleaner water, mitigating heat impacts, managing stormwater. So there's a lot of things that tie into conservation, especially within the community context.
I imagine when there's this brand new project and you have this new trail open and it's fantastic, it still needs that finishing touch. It still needs some flowers and some plantings to just really make it look complete.
For me, a great word to use there is maintenance. And that really goes hand in hand with a big theme of what we're doing here, but also at the garden. This program falls under the sustainability division, and we really, really pride ourselves on maintenance. So coming back to a site and making sure, I love that Great Rivers Greenway has the intentionality of us not just going to a site once, but we're continuing to go back to make sure that we've finished our project. So maybe we're removing the honeysuckle, we're coming back and we're checking the next season. The next season we might seed, and then from there we might just alter our plans depending on how the project is doing. So maintenance is really important, and adding in those flowers is also something that we could do.
How long are people part of the Outdoor Leadership Corps? Is it a short-term thing, and then you have new groups of people, and how do people get involved?
Sure, great question. So we, like Josh mentioned earlier, we do have 2 seasons a year, 2 cohorts. One is from January to April, and the other one is from September to December. And they work part-time temporary, so that means they work Tuesday through Thursday from 8 to 3:30. And then they can come, restoration assistants are our crew members. They can come back for 2 seasons. And then we have an opportunity for another career pathway for them to become an assistant crew leader. So they can come back and apply for a 3rd season and be an assistant crew leader as well.
If they weren't doing this work, would there be somebody else doing it, or would it just be something that gets overgrown?
I would say both. I mean, they're Great Rivers Greenway, we have a 3-county region. We've built so far 140 miles of trail, and that's building, every year. So the maintenance needs and the stewardship needs are never ending. So they are definitely helping us fill a gap in some of our maintenance and stewardship needs. But we also have several other programs that are helping us to manage these natural areas. We do work with a contractor at several different sites in our 3-county region. We have other partner programs. We contract with AmeriCorps as well, so they're doing some of that similar work. So it's a combination of mechanisms and strategies that we use to help steward our greenways and the community green spaces that connect with our greenways.
For people who might be interested in being a part of this, who do they contact?
Sure, that would be me. So you can email me at mfletcher@mobot.org. But we are actually hiring right now. So if you go to the Missouri Botanical website and scroll all the way to the down, there's a careers button. And if they click that and they'll see Outdoor Leadership Corps Restoration Assistant, they can apply. We're interviewing in August. And then, like I mentioned earlier, we'll be starting in September.
Well, there you go. If you know somebody who might be interested, contact Fletcher at the Missouri Botanical Garden. Also with us is Josh Ward, Great Rivers Greenway. Thanks so much for telling us more about the Outdoor Leadership Corps.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.
And thank you, Debbie. And let's get a check of the roads now with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center. More rain moving in. Rogers, that causing more problems?
It seems like in certain spots it is, Megan. They're still working this crash eastbound 64 just past Spadey. The 3 left lanes are open. It's a solid jam back to the 270 exit ramps as you come off 270, so pay attention there. Those ramps come to a halt, especially southbound, pretty quickly. 64 is a little slow east of Boone's Crossing, and then from Clarkson into about Timberlake. And then there's a slow traffic westbound 64, Hampton to Hanley. South 170 has a few slowdowns periodically from Olive to 64. 270 from Dorset down through 364, and 364 from Amiot into 270 is slower because of the weather. Eastbound Highway 70, Spencer in through Cave Springs and east of the Blanchett into our city. You're off the pace. North 270 pockets as you ramp on from 55, and it's pretty busy both ways from Sappington up through 44. 44 still a little busy approaching the Merrimack, but after that doesn't look bad. Southbound 55, Merrimack bottom to 141's busy. The North 55 ramp on the 270's backed up, and eastbound 64, 3rd Street on the 5570 are on the brakes. Next update at 8:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
And checking that forecast for today, mostly cloudy, humid, showers and thunderstorms, a high of 83 degrees. We could have more thunderstorms this evening, some flash flooding possible as well, an overnight low of 68. Right now, we do have rain in the region, 75 in Florissant, 74 in St. Peters, and 73 downtown at the Arch.
In a county full of slick politicians, one man never got the memo. Jake Zimmerman. He may not be cool, but as county assessor, Zimmerman delivered. Here's Jake.
I stopped casinos taking money from our schools and cracked down on wealthy developers dodging taxes.
The St. Louis American called his office a model of respectful competence, and the Post-Dispatch just endorsed Zimmerman in his campaign for county executive for his pledge to take the drama out of county government. As county executive, he'll make life more affordable and stand up to MAGA's attacks on our rights.
I'm not flashy, but I get results, and I've got your back.
Then there's Brian Williams. Williams voted with MAGA Republicans to open the door to extreme abortion bans, and now MAGA is bankrolling Williams with $150,000 in donations. Brian Williams and MAGA can't be trusted. Jake Zimmerman is on our side. Paid for by Citizens for Jake Zimmerman. Jeannie Kirkton, Treasurer.
When you sign your insurance policy, for some brokers, that's the finish line. Handshake, commission, done. Then you may not hear from them again until it's time for renewal. But your business runs all year, so do the gaps and the risk. So go to Supersure.com. If your company has more than 25 employees, whether you're the owner, CFO, or HR manager, it can be too complex to just go buy a policy online. Supersure is the super agency built for you, licensed in every state for your business insurance and employee benefits, all with year-round support for you and your team. At Supersure.com, you can access tools like fine print facts. It'll translate your current policy into plain English so you see what's covered and what's not. Plus a business value calculator so you can estimate what your business is worth so you know what actually needs protecting. Go to Supersure.com. One super agency, one powerful platform, all your policies in one place. Supersure.com. That's Supersure.com. Paid for by Supersure Insurance Agency, LLC, a licensed insurance agency.
Hair Volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and NewNordicUSA.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
In case you missed it, we catch you up on this week's top local stories every Friday here on Total Information AM. Measles caseloads have hit a 35-year high, the trend a concern for Dr. Rachel Orshell, a WashU medicine infectious disease specialist at St. Louis Children's Hospital.
One of the things we're seeing is that we've reached, a caseload that's higher than we had last year in the entire year. And so I think we can expect to see that we're going to see increasing cases.
Orshell says if that happens, it increases the risk for other infections. Drowning and boating-related deaths on Missouri waterways have doubled compared to this time last year. Missouri State Highway Patrol Lieutenant Eric Brown tells Missouri Net the increase is significant.
You look at our statistics right now, we've had 30 people killed in boating and drowning incidents, and the vast majority of those are related to swimming and their drownings. 30 so far this year as opposed to 15 in that same time period last year.
Brown says many victims became tired in the water, stepped into deeper areas unexpectedly, or simply weren't as strong a swimmer as they believed. Dozens of cyclospora cases now confirmed in St. Louis County. County Health Director Kanika Cunningham.
What we're seeing, majority of the people is tied back to eating some type of lettuce, and unfortunately it is at Taco Bell. We've seen maybe a few cases with Walmart, but for the most part, majority of it is Taco Bell.
Many of the cases are from South St. Louis County and Baldwin. The American Red Cross has declared a national blood crisis. This type of national declaration is rare, according to Ann Vassmans, Regional Communications Manager for the American Red Cross.
We've done this now for only the second time in our history, declaring a national blood crisis, and so we don't take that lightly. What's happening is that the number of donations that are coming in are just not keeping up with the need for blood that we are seeing in the hospitals.
Extreme heat, poor air quality, and widespread foodborne illness believed to be the major factors in the current lower donor turnout. Panera Bread leaving its hometown.
The company that started as the St. Louis Bread Company in Kirkwood in 1987 is telling employees it's opening a new headquarters near Boston in July 2027 and relocating many St. Louis area jobs there.
That's KMOX's Michael Calhoun with the story. Governor Mike Kehoe's thoughts on the move?
We were not made aware Panera was looking. If we were, we would have gotten to see if there was anything we can do. So it tells me since they didn't really come to the state and ask for any options or opportunities, they had their mind made up to move to the east.
St. Louis City trying to save a multi-million-dollar real estate deal on Kings Highway before it becomes a permanent eyesore. A row of long condemned houses at Kings Highway in Oakland were knocked down 2 years ago to make way for new development, but that fell through. Now the land's on the market. The city trying to help the firm find a buyer by offering tax abatement. Coming up next on Total Information AM, there are some secret flights you can take if you know how to access them. We'll get the latest from our KMOX travel editor, Peter Greenberg, coming up. It's now 8:27, and this time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
For decades, Morgan & Morgan has represented hundreds of thousands of people at their hour of need. Injuries on the job, car crashes, medical malpractice, and nursing home abuse, Social Security claims, dangerous drugs, and dangerous products. We became America's largest injury firm for a reason, and no firm is even close. Then we got to thinking, what if we could prevent these terrible events before they occurred? So we built the AI-powered People Protector. Simply visit peopleprotector.com and type in the product you have questions about before you buy it. Children's toys and accessories, cars, drugs, products, you name it, we got it. With our success, we decided to pay it forward for all of America. Our way of saying thank you for your trust all these years. Morgan & Morgan, protecting America. And if you've already been injured, just visit us at forthepeople.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
New Game Plus with Oxy makes your laundry smell incredible and fights stubborn smells, like the ones your dog Biscuit brought into your freshly made bed last night. But you wash that all away with Game, and now you're drifting asleep to the scent and sound of waves. Ah, nope. That's the dog licking your ear.
Biscuit.
It just might be our greatest scent ever. Now with odor fighting power. New Game Plus with Oxy.
Sniff the difference. Back to school starts now. Get long-lasting battery life on the Dell XPS laptop powered by Series 3 Intel Core so you can work from anywhere. Now starting at $699 with exclusive student pricing starting at $599. Complete your setup with savings on select monitors and must-have electronics and accessories. Limited time deals and free shipping on PCs and more await you at Dell.com/deals. That's Dell.com/deals.
I'm Bill Eigel. I'm a no on data centers. Last year, when a new hyperscale data center was up for a vote in St. Charles City, I'm the only candidate for county executive who stood with you in opposition. Meanwhile, Steve Ellman was writing op-eds in support of data centers. In fact, he spent $400,000 of your taxpayer money to identify 6 locations just for data centers in St. Charles County. I'm Bill Eigel, and if you don't want data centers in our county, then I'm asking for your vote on August 4th.
Paid for by Eigel from Missouri. Lisa Borchers, Treasurer.
When pain starts to slow you down, BJC Healthcare and WashU Medicine orthopedic specialists are here to help. Nationally recognized leaders in orthopedics deliver care that's informed by research and personalized for you. From everyday aches to complex injuries and recovery, we're here to help you get back to doing what you love. Find an orthopedic specialist today. Visit bjc.org/orthopedics or call 314-362-9355.
Soldiers Memorial Military Museum looks at American military history through the lens of St. Louis. From the Revolutionary War to the present day, the galleries showcase stories of local service members and delve into the city's wartime history. Outside, the Court of Honors includes monuments to those who lost their lives in World War II, Korea, and Vietnam. Open Wednesday through Sunday. Admission is free. Find information about special exhibits at mohistory.org/memorial. That's mohistory.org/memorial.
It's now 8:30. Let's get the latest on the roads with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Megan, they're still working the crash eastbound 64 just past Spady. Only the two left lanes are open past it if you're on eastbound 64. Rain is an issue, obviously. There's some slow traffic 94 over to the Boone Bridge because of it, Clarkson into Timberlake, and then it's slow from Maryville Center and then jams at 270 up to it. Rain slowed traffic in general on North 270, backed up actually as you ramp on from 55, but it's rain slowed all the way up into the Maryland Heights area, at least up through Dorset and southbound. Coming down from that point to 64 is slow as well. Eastbound 70, you have some heavy traffic from 370 in through Zunbelt toward 94. A couple of pockets between the Rock Road and the airport both ways, again, due to the weather. Westbound 64, Clayton Skincroft to McCausland's a little heavy. On the Illinois side, westbound 64 west of 3rd Street to the Poplar slow, and eastbound 64 has that jam approaching 5570 in the construction zone. Next update at 8:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
We have cloudy skies now, 73 degrees downtown at the Arch. You're back with Total Information AM here on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch, and it is time for our weekly visit with KMOX travel editor Peter Greenberg, host of Peter Greenberg Worldwide, airing weekends here on KMOX. And we're getting Peter on the line right now. Good morning, Peter.
And good morning.
Well, let's first talk about premium seats on planes. I read an article this week talking about how more of these are selling. What's going on with that?
It's almost sounding counterintuitive that at the moment affordability is the key. Airfares have never been higher. The airlines are doubling down on increasing the size of first and business class seats, especially in the business class section. Delta, on one of their new planes, the A350, is adding 44 first class seats, unheard of, and at prices that are astronomical, and yet they seem to be filling those seats right now.
What is it about the premium seats that you think appeals to these flyers?
Well, of course, it's all about the upgrade, but the bottom line is, with the stock market being where it is, the people with the money still have no problem in spending it when it comes to travel, and they don't want to be in the back of the plane, and they're paying that extra money. The other thing is this. 12 years ago, 88% of the seats that Delta had in first class went unsold. They were available to be upgraded for their frequent flyers. Today, 88% of the seats are already sold, and that leaves only 12% for upgrades, and even those are being auctioned off prior to the flight. So that'll give you an idea of where the money's being spent.
Peter, you found out about some secret flights that all of us can take, but we have to know how and where to find them. What are these?
Well, they actually do exist, but they may not exist on the online systems that you're using to make your reservations, because these are agreements between countries that allow an airline that's not based in country A to fly from a city in that country to another city in another country where they're also not based. I'll give you an example. You fly from New York to Frankfurt, you think you'll fly Lufthansa or United or Delta. You know who else flies that route? Singapore Airlines. What? Makes no sense. I was flying from Sao Paulo to Buenos Aires. You'd think I'd take a Latin American airline. I flew Turkish Airlines. What is Turkish Airlines doing flying between those two cities? These are the secret flights that are out there. They're better service, usually not crowded, and definitely better fares.
Any other surprises for the rest of the summer travel season?
Yeah, this big surprise for the summer travel season is what's going to happen starting next month, which is tomorrow, and that is airfares may go down a little bit, 6% down over last year, which is hard to believe, and a lot of availability suddenly with frequent flyer miles, your ability to redeem them. It won't last long. It won't be for every flight, but there's some softness in the market right now. And if you've got some miles laying around you want to redeem and you haven't been able to do it before, this may be the month to do it.
Well, your show tomorrow that people can hear at 7 p.m. on KMOX is from Hawaii. Give us a little sneak peek.
Well, Hawaii is one of those markets where the airfare situation may get better because the Japanese market has softened for them, and they depend so much on Japanese tourists that all of a sudden there are seats available and rooms available. So check that out. We'll be coming from the Outrigger Reef Hotel right there in Waikiki, one of the older hotels. That's one of the classic hotels, and talking about all the islands in Hawaii and where there are availabilities and great experiences.
All right. You can listen and find out more at petergreenberg.com. Peter, thanks so much for your time this morning.
You got it.
It is now 8:35, and the weather forecast from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk calling for some showers and thunderstorms mainly this morning. We've got some of those that are coming through the St. Louis region right now. A high 83 degrees and then a thunderstorm or two this evening with some flash flooding possible. An overnight low of 68. Right now we do have cloudy skies. 73 degrees downtown at the Arch.
I built this business the old-fashioned way. Hard work and a whole lot of spreadsheets.
Yeah, about that, I upgraded us to Odoo. Odoo puts everything we need, sales, inventory, accounting, on one connected platform. No more juggling systems, no more headaches.
So it all works together?
Exactly.
Odoo is the all-in-one business software that makes running and passing on a business easier than ever. Take your business into the next generation. Try Odoo free at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
What do parents think of back to school at Staples, where supplies start at just 25 cents?
Staples has the latest laptops with up to 40% savings.
I may hug the cashier.
So embarrassing.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
It's a wonderful time at Staples with up to 40% off select tech. Staples.
That was easy.
Visit Staples today or shop online and in the app. Ends 9/12. Exclusions apply.
Report now. It's sponsored by Eamon Gatner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys. Here's Bloomberg's Courtney Donahoe.
Rivian's newest SUV is hitting the road, and the company hopes it can recharge its business. Known primarily for its high-end EVs and plug-in delivery vans used by Amazon, Rivian is betting its new, more affordable R2 line can help it capture a greater share of the market for EVs. Rivian reporting quarterly earnings that topped Wall Street expectations. And Halloween is getting an earlier start, and Hershey's is hoping that means a sweeter season is ahead. The candy giant says the rise of Summerween is giving the holiday a longer runway, with more consumers buying treats early. Americans are embracing the season earlier. Hershey says 67% of parents have already purchased Halloween candy this summer. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
There's a saying, it takes a group of good men to build a barn, and only one to tear it down. Well, a few Jeff City politicians are at it again, tearing things down with Amendment 5 and Amendment 4. No on 5 and 4. 5 takes our money with higher sales taxes, higher taxes on gas, guns, and groceries, a sales tax hike on rent and diesel, seed and feed. 4 takes away our constitutional right to vote and go around the establishment politicians and to stop higher taxes. Takes away our safety valve, a vote of the people to stop or reverse a dumb idea like the everything tax. I'm a no. A heck no. No. No on Amendment 5. No on Amendment 4. No on both 4 and 5. Paid for by no on the everything tax.
Steve Ellman leads. Ellman enacted a data center moratorium. He doubled our parkland, built new roads, prioritized safe schools and streets, eliminated the county's real property tax. Ellman for St. Charles County. Bill Eigel misleads. Eigel talks but didn't pay his property taxes, but voted to give tax credits to the company behind the St. Charles Data Center, and was rebuked by Trump's lawyer for scamming donors.
Paid for by the committee to elect Steve Ellman, Michael Summer Jr., Treasurer.
Registered lobbyist Mike Deering is not the kind of guy you want in the state Senate.
Did you say he was a registered lobbyist?
Sure did. When conservatives like Tricia Burns tried to pass a bill to take back the 300,000 acres in Missouri allowed to be controlled by China, lobbyist Mike Deering testified against against it when conservatives like Tricia Burns fought alongside Missouri cattlemen to require foreign beef to be labeled. Lobbyist Mike Deering testified against that, too. While conservatives like Tricia Burns are fighting to protect your farmland from being paved over by data centers, lobbyist Mike Deering described Google's Montgomery County hyperscale data center as a
very positive thing.
Deering also endorsed liberal Democrat Chris Koster for governor and openly mocked President Trump. Registered lobbyist Mike Deering, anti-Trump, pro-Democrat, bought out by foreign ag interest, and in love with data centers. Take down data center Deering on August 4th. Vote America First conservative warrior Tricia Burns for state senate.
Paid for by Mo Constitutional Conservative Council PAC, Scott Lady Treasurer.
Teachers, healthcare workers, first responders, and military. This one's for you. Scott Credit Union's Community Heroes program offers special financing on homes, autos, and more. It's our way of saying thanks. Visit scu.org today. Equal housing lender, NMLS number 415767. Terms and conditions apply.
This is 104.1 FM KMOX. Here's what's happening. President Donald Trump says a deal's been reached for Hamas to disarm and Israel to withdraw its forces from Gaza. Anthropic says its AI models hacked into 3 organizations during testing. It comes just days after OpenAI said its AI models went rogue and hacked into another company. And major oil companies reported massive profits while fighting between Iran and the U.S. impeded petroleum shipments. Consumers paid more for fuel. American oil and gas giants ExxonMobil and Chevron both more than doubled their profits in the second quarter. Let's see how much fuel you're burning on the roads right now. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, rain is really slowing everybody down. Some of these downpours look pretty heavy, Megan. I'm looking. The road conditions could change pretty quickly. 70 is off the pace, as a matter of fact, from Cave Springs all the way in through the Blanchette, from Lindbergh into 170. South 170 is just off the pace all the way down from 270 to 64. 270 itself between Olive and 70 looks kind of busy, and between Manchester and 55, both directions, more so northbound than southbound, but 270 is off the pace as well. 64, slow stuff through the valley, east of the Boone Bridge through Long Road, Clarkson to Timberlake. Still a jam from 270 up to Spady. The right lane still blocked there, but again, off the pace both directions on 64 between 270 and 170. 44, you've got slow stuff coming in from almost midway in from St. Clair through Union, through that Washington area. Pacific all the way into Eureka is off the pace around Laclede Station. 55 has some slow stuff southbound between River de Pere and Rivas, and eastbound 64 backs up 3rd Street onto 5570. Westbound, you've got delays 3rd Street onto the Poplar. I'm Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Time for the Friday edition of Hancock and Kelly.
You two belong together.
John Hancock, Michael Kelly on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Good morning, John Hancock.
Top of the morning, big boy.
How are you?
I'm really good today.
Buddy, we're sliding to this election on Tuesday.
I know it.
Probably,
hard to believe.
Arguably, the most consequential election in this cycle, right? Because as you and I have been talking, unfortunately, we don't have November contests, even statewide, this coming year.
Yeah, just the state auditor on the ballot, and the incumbent Republican Scott Fitzpatrick has a massive war chest. And the Democratic candidate nominee, whoever it may be, is going to start off at a pretty extreme cash disadvantage for an office it's hard to raise money for.
Well, and then on top of it all, we've just seen the change in politics, and Missouri's just a ruby red state in the same way that Illinois is royal blue. This is where we're at these days, and as you and I have been saying, the elections are all about the primaries. And so in our effort to encourage people, if you live in St. Louis City or St. Louis County, it's obvious that the Democrats are whoever wins those elections will be the people who ultimately are elected. Out in St. Charles, Republicans. Whoever wins this Republican primary for county executive.
Yeah, and it's one of the most interesting ones in the region, I think. It may be the most interesting race in the region.
I think so, too.
Yeah.
Hard to believe, right?
Yeah, you got a 3-way race. The incumbent, Steve Ellman, and facing 2 challengers. In a way that, Steve's been county executive for 20 years in St. Charles County. He's never had a serious primary threat, or for that matter, general election threat over the course of those 20 years. And now he faces 2 well-funded candidates, former State Senator Bill Eigel and former Lake St. Louis Mayor Jason Law. How do you handicap this thing?
I don't know. I mean, Steve Ellman is going to be able to run on, look, I've been one stable force in the region, and I've navigated this county from, heck, if he started, 20 years ago, may have only been a couple 100,000 people out there. Now there's almost 500,000 people in St. Charles County.
Well over 400,000, yeah.
And they have a stable government out there. Unfortunately, being experienced is not necessarily something that the people like to hear about politicians.
When's the last time you ran a campaign with the tagline "Experience counts"?
Yeah,
I mean,
ain't that unfortunate?
Yeah, it is.
John, I think most people think it's a two-horse race out there between Bill Eigel, this MAGA, thing that's going on in your party, and Steve Ellman, who's going to be running on experience and traditional Republicans. I'm hopeful that a traditional Republican comes through, but I'm going to have to leave you to tell me what's happening out there.
Yeah, I don't know, and curious because this is a high-profile, well-funded race, and I find it curious that we've not seen any kind of public polling data released. I mean, it's I don't know that the campaigns have any kind of polling available, or if they do, they're keeping it very close to the vest. And you would think if one of those campaigns had a poll within the last week or two that was favorably showed their effort, they would have released those numbers.
Well, you and I both do this for a living, and one of the things that's interesting to me, for a while there, polling, and when I say a while ago, 4 or 5 years ago, polling got easier. It was easier to go out there, cheaper to do it. Now polling's expensive. Yep. Number one, you can't, so many ways people aren't answering their phones, so the most effective way to do it is through live phone calls on both the cell phone, landline, and some text to web where you get a text.
Yep.
And to do an appropriate poll, you're looking at $25,000, $30,000. That's a lot of money.
It is.
Just to find out where people are headed.
And even that methodology, which is the current state of the art, even that methodology requires the people on the receiving end of the data to manipulate the data, to try and match the demographic characteristics of the electorate or the expected electorate. And I heard Steve Ellman on this Airways earlier this week saying that the the early voting turnout in St. Charles was twice as big as it was 2 years ago. And we had a governor's primary 2 years ago. So, that's interesting, and we'll see if the ultimate turnout is appreciably different from what it had been. St. Charles, at least on the Republican side, because I've been doing this a while, their turnout in Republican primaries is remarkably steady, except for the year Right to Work was on the ballot, and you saw a big spike.
Right.
But other than that, it has been remarkably steady. And so I'm fascinated to see.
Do you have a prediction there?
I think you're going to see some increased turnout over the norm. Part of that is Amendment 5 and a spirited county executive race, something they have not had in that county ever. Could be driving a lot of that.
All right, so let's tick through them, right? St. Charles, I think Steve Ellman probably wins, but it's probably a coin toss between Ellman and Eigel. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I had been pretty constant in predicting that if it's a three-way race and you've got two normal candidates and one
populist, MAGA, extremist,
that I think that favors Eigel. I don't know that he's run a particularly effective race here, and the tail of the tape will be on Tuesday.
The other race for county executive across the river in St. Louis, going to be won by the Democrat. It's a three-way. Brian Williams, the state senator. You've got Jake Zimmerman, the county auditor, and Miss Mosley, the former state senator up North County.
Angela Walton Mosby, who's in the race as a spoiler. She hasn't raised any money.
Right.
Hasn't spent any money. But she and Brian Williams share the same geographical base in North St. Louis County. So the whole key to this thing is if Mosley is able to cut Williams's margins in North County, I think Zimmerman wins. If Mosley's lack of a campaign renders her ineffective and Williams gets the numbers he needs in North County, then I think he's going to prevail.
I have been supportive and helpful to Brian Williams in the past. I think he pulls this out, but this is going to be a close election. The other sexy race is a rematch from 2 years ago, Wesley Bell and Cori Bush, the former congressman versus the current congressman. I don't see much that's changed in 2 years. Do you?
I don't know. You look at these Democratic candidates all across the country. This is not a local phenomenon by any means. And you see these far left progressive candidates winning primaries over establishment Democrats all over the country. And so that could happen here. I don't expect it, but it certainly could.
I say Wesley Bell.
All right.
Okay, let's do these last two real quick. The amendments, we all know about them, right? 4 and 5, they're on the ballot. I think they both go down in flames.
I think they both go down as well. And, we'll see.
We're going to step aside. When we come back, John Hancock has a story that I bet you can relate to.
It's a public service announcement.
After this on the Mighty Mox.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance. And now we're customizing this ad for your morning commute to wake you up, which could help your driving. Science says that stimulating the brain increases alertness. So here's a pop quiz. How many months have 28 days? What gets wetter as it dries? What has keys but can't open locks? If you don't want to hear the answers, turn off this Liberty Mutual ad now. 12 months, a towel, piano. Enjoy being fully alert.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm in the air conditioning business. I don't advertise that much. I was leaving a customer's home and I was out in Illinois, and then as I was driving away, my fan for my air conditioner went out. I had to cross back over into St. Louis where there was bridge construction, so massive rush hour, backed up traffic, windows down, sweating. I had to take it straight to the dealership to drop it off because there's no way I can function, much less work, without air conditioning in my truck. And I'm the same way in my house, and every homeowner, not every homeowner, but most homeowners are the exact same way. So if you're experiencing difficulties with your air conditioner, meaning you have none, call me, Bart Inman, and it's one easy number, Missouri and Illinois, 314-293-2600. Again, Bart Inman, 314-293-2600, Missouri and Illinois. Call me. God bless.
Bill, you're an old politician.
Yup, sure am.
So you know the old-timers warned that someone trying to sell you a pig in a poke was a con man.
Well, sure.
Well, no offense, Tom, but your Politicians Amendment 5 is a pig in a poke, helping politicians to raise our taxes without a vote of the people. And the Politicians Amendment 4 takes away our power to do anything about it. Well, let's look at what's really inside 4 and 5.
Oh, don't do that.
5 hits hardest seniors and those struggling financially with new taxes on services like doctor visits, in-home care, and rent. Sales taxes could more than triple. For up to 80% of Missourians, it's a tax hike. And Amendment 4 ends majority rule, effectively ending our power to stop corrupt and out-of-control politicians.
Slick plan, huh?
No, Tom. 4 and 5 are schemes that hurt citizens and transfer our power and our money to politicians and lobbyists. That's why I'm voting no on the Politicians Amendments 4 and 5, paid for by Missourians for Fair Government.
St. Louis, are you ready to rock? AC/DC is bringing the Power Up Tour to the Dome at America Center Tuesday, September 8th. Hear legendary hits like Back in Black, Thunderstruck, and Highway to Hell, performed live by one of the greatest rock bands of all time. Don't wait on tickets. They're still available at Ticketmaster.com. AC/DC, the Power Up Tour, Tuesday, September 8th. For more information, go to KMOX.com/events.
Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM KMOX. Still here, still trusted. The voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Stand by for a public service announcement from Hancock and Kelly.
So I'm sitting at my desk a couple days ago. It's about 4:45 in the afternoon, working on the old computer there. And my phone lights up and it says no caller ID. And my father-in-law has his phone set with no caller ID, so I assume that was him. I answered and I said, "Hey there." And the voice on the other end said, "This is Deputy Mike Jones from the St. Louis County Sheriff's Office."
Ruh-roh.
And he's got a very commanding and accusatory tone in his voice. And he says, "You were scheduled for grand jury duty on July the 28th, and you did not show up. And you're going to have to, there are penalties involved for this, and possible arrest. And so I said, wait a minute, I didn't get a jury summons. He said, well, you did, and you signed it and sent it back in. I said, I didn't sign anything. And he keeps talking to me, and I'm thinking, okay, this is a scam. But I'm not quite sure. And I said, what's the address of the sheriff's office? He tells me. He gives me his badge number. I asked for a phone number. He wouldn't give it to me because we were on a secure communication. And long story short, I had to report immediately to the sheriff's office, to do a signature verification process.
Come on.
Yeah, exactly. So I said, I'm going to call my lawyer. He said, if you hang up the secure line, I'm going to have to send someone to bring you down here. And I said, okay. So I called
a friend, yeah.
You gave me the number of a trusted legal advisor.
Mm-hmm.
I called him and I said, hey, I want to know if this thing was a scam. I get a phone call and he says, jury duty? And I said, yeah. And they want you to go to the sheriff's office? I said, yeah. He said, you're the third person that's called me about this. And so thankfully, but it got my heart pounding a little bit because you just don't know for sure.
Right.
And I'm absent-minded enough that I could have,
Right.
You wouldn't forget jury duty. So, folks, if you're listening out there and you get one of these phone calls about jury duty, it is a scam. Hang up immediately.
Or if they call and they say they're from your bank, my bank I had a person call from my bank phone number and say,
yep.
You're doing an ACH or whatever those are to
Right.
a place in Brooklyn. I wasn't.
Right.
And they were wanting to get particular information so they could steal money. I called my bank, and they're like, we will never call you unless it is your own personal banker.
Yeah, I'm sure there are dozens and dozens and dozens of these things out there, and to be forewarned is to be forearmed.
That's correct. We're going to stick around, talk to Amy and Chris.
That's the plan. Chris and Amy are going to be here next. Cardinal baseball tonight from Canada. Playing the Toronto Blue Jays, Michael, and the Cardinals are one game under 500. You hate to see it.
It hasn't gone well as of late, but it's going to go well with Hancock Kelly, Amy, and Chris after this on KMOX.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Health Trends, sponsored by Lenseek.
Growing up a book